Grab a mic, Joe Boo. Come on, man. What's going down, Joe Boo?
Hey, man. Sorry, I'm not in a space where I'm alone, so I don't know how long I could actually talk. I can listen indefinitely, but
It's
right now
okay.
I'm just down. Right now I'm just down in the laundry room. I'm looking at laundry. Oh my god,
I got you.
dude.
We just got a
Much.
new washer machine today and had to have the maintenance guys come in and deal with that. Ugh.
I hate having contractors come in, man. It's so stressful, and people don't understand. Like, it's like, it's really, really easy for everybody else in my household. It's just like, oh, we'll just, slap on a mask. We'll sit in the car for a little bit, and sometimes these things take like 2-3 hours, and I'm like, but then you gotta like talk to them if you have to go in the house and get something. It's like real trauma around having been infected and affected this way and never recovered that it's just always in my mind. So I'm like neurotic about it. So yeah, maintenance sucks, man.
No, we got a bunch of bird shit out nearby our house, and this guy
Jesus
keeps
Christ.
walking through it. I'm like, dude, man, like they bring in all that, track in all that stuff. I'm just like, so we did completely disinfected the floors.
Oh
I
wow.
ran a couple boxes.
Wait, they didn't when we have people over, one thing we do is we put those shoe cover things, disposable shoe covers by the door, and they put those on and they toss them when they leave.
Dude, I should have done that. That would have been,
because we're like, yeah, we're not going to clean the place because it's every time I'm clumsy and I break a glass, it takes hours to clean that shit up and mopping. Like otherwise, that stuff would just be on my wife. So it's like she's not like I'm not doing that shit. So
yeah.
But yeah, no maintenance. Getting maintenance work done is hard, man. People don't understand. They don't get it.
Yeah. I just figured I'd have a little space for a little bit. I mean, there's a bunch of people I know in different parts of Twitter that have our spaces right now. And I'm just like a little happy hour, shoot the shit a little bit. Seems like I activated a couple of the trolls, and
Yeah,
I'm having fun with that.
I've been sort of listening to spaces all day, like because there's like a ton of like Middle East news and stuff I'm following. Most of it's making me very angry, but I've also been busy filling out paperwork most of the day. So yeah, no, I'm always up for trolling because that's like all this account is pretty much good for, and it's really freaking hilarious the way they stalk you. It's I'm surprised they don't stalk my account. I think honestly, I'm my visibility is sad, but
Dude, it's not even it's not about it. Dude, I don't know what it is, man. There's just certain people that are just drawn to my magnetic personality, Joe, and I can't help it. I can't help it, man.
It's what amazes me is there must have been hundreds of tweets from OQ on you alone, and I still can't comprehend one of them. I can't comprehend anything
It's
he
because
writes.
he's the king of confusion. So basically, there's some sort of like conspiracy in there somewhere. What you got to do is you got to line up all of his tweets in every thread, like put them on a giant board with some string on a cork board, and like twist them around and rearrange the words within the threads. And there's a code in there somewhere. There's a fucking code in there. I swear to God. And there's probably some like meaning of life shit in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't take it seriously, man. I can't.
What form of gibberish do you think it qualifies as?
I don't know what's up with these cats. I mean, I don't think about them, Like every once in a while, I'll kind of fall into it. Like right now, I'm in the process of deleting my whole timeline. So I've been like catching stuff. I'm going, oh damn, and I'm reading over some of my tweets, and I'm like, God damn, man, I make a lot of sense, you know. I'm like, I don't think it's my ego. I've been just consistent with my messaging this whole time, and I don't know, man. Like, it's like I'm revisiting shit. And I'm like, ugh, I don't want to redo that. Ugh, that was so gross. But like,
Well, it's
I don't know,
sad
man.
watching.
I
It's
think about them.
sad watching you delete it's sad watching you go through and delete what made, pretty much everything that made sense on the timeline for
Yeah,
long
but I'm not.
COVID, because
Well,
nothing else has made sense aside
I'm
from
not the
like
only.
our small circle of people.
I'm not the only one though. People get it, dude. People get it. They know what's going on. You know, and people are sick, and they're not getting better. You know, so that ain't gonna change. I went to an inpatient today, or an in person, and saw my doc because my shoulders are fucked up. Remember, I was telling you about that, and you're no
Yeah,
stranger to shoulder stuff. So uh, it doesn't look like there's any tear or anything in the labrums, but it's definitely some bursitis with some tendon problems or whatever, tendinopathy. But like I talked with my doc, who's also my long COVID doc, and it was just a quick appointment. And I can't fucking tell you how many times they mentioned post-exertional, my friend, post-exertional. So many times. I've never heard it said. It's just constant, right? And I'm like, so what do we do? And they're like, we don't know. We don't know. But I'm supposed to feel validated. It's like I
fucking
go,
ridiculous.
what am I supposed to do? I need to get my life back. I want to get like my vaccine and stuff, but I don't have. What do I do? You guys won't give me monoclonals. They have nothing. There's nothing. They don't know what to do. There's no treatment. She looked at my feet, because she finally saw me in person, and she goes, "Oh yeah, that's definitely not a fungus. That's some kind of neuropathy." And I'm like, "Yeah, is the pacing gonna help that? Come on, man, help me out here." Anyway,
So,
yeah, whatever.
like, hold on. So, what is? I forgot what I was gonna say.
Poor Pam. Pam,
Well,
Pam.
yeah. It's ridiculous. Can't. I can't take anymore. I haven't even. I see like a few specialists, and they're specialists who would never use the word PEM. Thank God, ever, 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 ever. Unfortunately, they will use the word brain fog and fatigue and stuff. They don't use it often with me anymore because they know it doesn't. I think I realize it just doesn't mean anything. Any of that stuff, brain fog, fatigue, uh, exercise intolerance. It doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where so we couldn't get much in on the long COVID, right? So I'm gonna see her in summer, and we'll do the full hour and a half. But it's like there ain't nothing there. It's like I get it. Like now you're saying like post exertional, you're recognizing that's a thing. I guess that's a big win for some people. I guess that's a big win. It's not a big win for me. I mean, there's nothing there. They don't have anything. It's like okay, great. What did the fucking gym teacher go out there and like school the University of Washington? Tell them you gotta watch out for the Pam. They can't be Pam. And I'm just like, yeah. And so then what? And they're like, oh, nothing. I'm like, so do you got some advice for the vaccine? Because I'm having a mental health crisis, and so's my partner, and we want to get back in the world. Like, do you have? Can we do? Oh no, you shouldn't take that. We can't do that. No. Okay, so what about my alternatives? Nope, there's no path to alternatives. Like, what the fuck? So what do you want me to do? And they're like post exertional, and I'm like, I don't. And then she's like, I got to do my shoulder exercises, right? I got to do my shoulder exercises to get my shoulder better. And mind you, I like my doctor, dude. We got a good relationship. She's awesome. She's just like any other doctor. She don't have answers to this stuff. But like, she she's like, we just make sure that we don't do all the exercises on one day because you don't want to end up with like a post exertional this or that. And I was just like, okay, thanks. Like I'm 5 years in, doc. I'm telling you, I'm having a mental health crisis because I want to get back to living a little bit. And you're telling me to slow down so that I don't make myself sicker. Like I already know this stuff, you know? And I get somebody out there who's gonna be like, well, there's people who don't know it. I'm like, they figure it out real fast if they have post-exertional problems. They figure it out. I'm sorry, but it's true.
Yep.
If you've had post-exertional problems like I've had, there's no question. So I showed her before and after pic, a couple of pics of me like right before I got sick and then right after, not ones I've shared on Twitter before. And dude, she looked and she goes, I want those for my colleagues. She's like, because people are fucking. She said today, she goes, patients are going crazy now. Not like they're going crazy because their brains are rotting, but basically, they're not getting better, and they don't know what to do. And some of her colleagues, I think, are even like they're they're not considering the impact that this is having on people's lives. And so when you look at those pictures juxtaposed, and you see me, 220 pounds, fully fucking ripped, and like, and then you look at me now, and you look at me like what happened afterward. It like tells a story. Like I don't know, like they're also getting caught up in this like mild disease thing. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird.
I had a long conversation with the clinical assistant, my cardiologist today, because they're taking me off the statin for a month because they just want to make sure they're pretty sure it's the disease and not the statin that's causing a lot of the like horrific like muscle soreness and aching and joint shit and like. But they're like, yeah, it that is a side effect. So this is, so I'm really nervous about being off it for a month because I've been on statin for 2 years of this. And
Oh, dude, did you see that fucking
this,
tweet the other day by that lady? She's a
no,
PT. She's a PT, PhD or whatever. I get it. I think she's a physical therapist. So I imagine she was like taking care of herself. You know what I'm saying? And I know genetics can play a role, but she's like, people with POTS and ME, and PEM and all that, like, take your stuff seriously because I thought, I was not going to and I had a heart attack and now I'm in heart failure. And just like, I'm like, dude, that's my whole message. When it's long COVID, it's never PEM, ever, ever PEM, ever. Don't end up like that person. Don't end up like somebody who fucking has a heart attack and writes it off because, you know,
yeah, I mean,
not cool, not okay. I feel terrible for her. I mean, it's terrible, right? And it's scary.
but the problem is people minimize it because most patients like they get a ton of testing done like I do, and they present like me where oh your echo's clean, your ultrasounds are all clean, your imaging is all clean in general, and I've had a lot of imaging done, and it's like, and your blood tests are all pretty much clean except for some weird markers that are high here or there, but they're a secondary. They don't point to anything primary that we can treat. But it's all like normal. And it's like, okay, so most people see that and they're just like, well, it's not so that's why they resort to calling it PEM. And that's why they resort to just calling it a bunch of weird nebulous stuff that makes zero sense and isn't helpful to anybody whatsoever. Because they have nothing diagnostically to point to say, look at how fucked up these people are. And it's not until somebody has a heart attack or a stroke do they realize well, shit, maybe we should have done something earlier. Oh, wait, we couldn't because there's no intervention available
Right.
earlier.
Hey, patients will suck that up because one, it's validating, right? So I get it. Like they recognize that there's a problem. It's not all in your head. But then two, it's part of the it's part of the vernacular patient communities, right? So it makes sense when we use something like post-exertional malaise, or just in a general sense, to avoid like we're not trying to describe exactly what's happening and figuring it out. It's just like in banter, it makes sense. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I don't subscribe to the whole idea of making it synonymous with a disease and using it to inflate others. That's just garbage. But it is. But I feel like that's the narrative that's won, right? Because you couldn't compete with existing organizations. You couldn't compete with the ME mafia on social media. You just said, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? A bunch of kids and fucking who want to just play this inclusivity game, and it's like if you don't participate, they're like this like warped leftist culture of canceling people. Like, what do you suppose? How are you supposed to fucking do anything? You're like, yeah, I don't think PEM is descriptive enough. I think patients deserve better. Fuck you, you racist, fucking misogynist piece of shit. Fuck you. Like, what do you do, dude? How do you compete with that, bro?
You don't.
How? Sorry if I'm yelling. I'm in a car. Sorry.
It's well, it's crazy. Sorry, I'm just I'm in the process of, if it's loud, I'm in the process of like slamming the laundry stuff around. But no,
When I
you
park,
can't.
I'm gonna unblock a few so he can come in my space.
I didn't want to block any of these people. The only reason I did is because they were being silly and idiotic.
Dude,
they were
they're
just
fucking weirdos, bro. Look at these.
they were blocking
Listen to
me
this.
and then responding on my threads. I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah,
that's bullshit. So
it's kooky, dude. It's kooky behavior. It's really fucking sad. Check it out. So, all right, real true story here. True story. I want the people in here to hear this because I didn't put it on the timeline. Okay. So, this guy, Sean Burke, right? You guys see me like tweet about him a couple times. If you pay attention to my account, you didn't mute me out. And Sean used to come into the long COVID lounge spaces and stuff. I never had a problem with Sean. No beefs with Sean at all. Never. Some of my friends were like, dude, he's recording your spaces and this and that. And I was like, I don't care what these people do. Like, it's fine. He's got long COVID. Let him come in here. If he wants to talk, he can talk. That's just who I am. Like, what the fuck? Right? So then, like, time goes by. All that weird shit happened where that fucking weirdo Sita, accused me of all that shit. Sue came out. They caused the block list. And they're like trying to destroy me, but what they're really doing is just ruining a community. And fucking then I find out that Sean's like talking mad game, like mad stuff about me. He's big mad at Dave behind his blocked account. So I retaliated a little bit, just fucking with him, and I took a screenshot of his girlfriend's picture on her. It was on the internet. It's already there. And I put a tweet out there, and I was like, hey, Sean, your girlfriend's careless. Don't let her dox you, like, tongue in cheek, whatever. Just to let him know that, like, hey, I know I'm on to you, buddy. Like, you're not going to come in my spaces and do this shit. And I know that you're talking shit constantly and you're obsessed. Like, just stop. Right? Well, that just made it worse. Anyway, he's been behind this block for, like, God knows how long, half a year or something like that. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, and even my friends that used to follow him, they unfollowed him because they're like, no, we don't care about this drama bullshit. Neither do I. So he unblocks himself a couple weeks ago, Joe. And I don't know what his deal was, but he was just like calling me out, like, Dave, let's fucking do it. Let's talk into space and yeah. And I was like, all right, game on, right? So I unblock him. It's cool. He's got his thing. And I look at his account and I'm like, damn, dude, this dude is into me. Like, this dude is really fucking into me. He is like really tweeting about me a lot. And so he's big mad. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll try and understand this dude, right? So that never materializes. And then, okay, so here's where things get a little bit weird. This is where it gets weird. All of a sudden, Sean Burke closes his account down, okay? And I'm like, that's kind of weird. Maybe he's just stressing out. Like, nobody needs this drama. Nobody needs it. If they have long COVID, it's not good for them, right? So I was like, good for him. Fuck it, whatever. Then I see on the timeline something, and I don't pay any attention to it. It didn't really click with me. And then I'm on a Discord call with some friends, okay? And one of my friends, I said, hey, did you know that Sean Burke, he like closed his account, right? And they were like, oh yeah. And somebody mentioned something about him donating to a Ko-Fi. I was like, what happened with that? And they said, oh, we think he was trying to like get information because he donated to somebody's Ko-Fi. Because there's a way to like donate and then you get their shipping address information, okay? And I was like, damn, dude, that's pretty fucking cray-cray. Like, he's trying to get people's addresses from donating, right? And then it dawned on me in the middle of this Discord call. I said, holy shit, you guys. I have a Ko-Fi too. And just the other day, and I never use it. I don't use it. It's not for anything. It's not even, like, posted anywhere. I said, just the other day, I fucking got a $5 donation on my Ko-Fi by an anonymous person. That's crazy. And so we're on the Discord, like, let's find out what the fuck this is, right? So I went into my Ko-Fi, and I was like, oh, okay, it's a PayPal. So then I went into my PayPal, and it was fucking Sean Burke. Fishing for my address, dude. Fishing for my address. He didn't get it because I set up all the proper fucking settings. But he gave me his.
Dude, maybe he wants to come. Maybe he wants to come buy you a beer.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. But I hope. I mean, I've made it really clear to the world on Twitter. Like, nobody. I mean, in the real world, you don't just stalk people and go. Like, you get killed. Like, you go into someone's house, you're gonna get shot. You know what I'm saying? Or you mess with somebody, the cops are gonna get called. Or there's gonna be a fight. Like, something bad is gonna happen. People in the real world don't do this shit, right? So anyway. I don't know what these people think they're going to do or what, but I mean, they can't get anything out of me anyways. So it's like weird as fuck. And I mean, I took it kind of serious. Because I'm pretty clear. Like, I live in a stand your ground state. I own guns, like, I'm that guy. Like, don't, why would you do that? Plus, I've already notified the police now. I notified the police about that Danny guy. I notified the police about Sue and all those people. They know all about it. There's a detective on the case that knows everything about all the whole stalking history, everybody's accounts involved, all the shit. You guys know I keep records. You know I can break it down too. So like they know. And as soon as I found out that Sean Burke was fishing, I went straight to the cops, just like the other people did. And the cops told me what I expected. They're like, no law's been broken, but thank you for letting it. Thank you for letting us know, because it's important that this is all documented. And I'm like, hey, I protect my home, I protect my family, my loved ones. And they're like, as you should. And they said the same thing they said to me before. It makes the cleanup a lot easier. That's what they told me. And I'm just like, okay. So I don't know what these fucking people think they're going to do, but that is some creepy shit. That's the level of creepy weirdness that these people operate at on Twitter. So I'm deleting my timeline. So, do the fucking math. Do the math. These people are destructive. They are chaotic. They are unhinged. They are nefarious. They are dishonest. And to be honest, just a little bit creepy. It's kind of creepy. Anyway, what's up, guys? I don't know. I was just having a space.
Aside from all of the, creepiness, I lost interest in the entire long COVID timeline a long time ago because it was not only repetitive, but like it's essentially a circle jerk. And if you're not part of the circle jerk, then you're not part of the conversation. And that's a conversation that's going nowhere. I don't wish to be a part of it. So why would I,
Well, you got canceled a long time ago. I mean, let's be honest, dude. You said whatever you said to Ty that one time, and fucking people just lost. It just broke the fucking internet.
Yeah, that was
They
fun.
they
I'd do it
they
again
freaked the
too.
fuck out. Right.
I'd do
Well,
it again
I mean,
too.
whatever. I'm just saying, like, and then you got canceled, and then they used that to no fucking end, and then that fucking weirdo came out and was like, I'm gonna destroy the long COVID lounge. And it just got weirder and weirder, dude.
Well, the hilarious thing is I never even said it to Ty. I just said it in his thread to somebody else who decided to respond to something I said to him. So I turned around, I said to that person, well, go ahead and enjoy your brain bleeds. And then he spread it all over the internet that Joe was wishing brain bleeds on anybody taking it.
Of course.
So that was
Just
that was a stretch.
It's all the same. Like you said, dude. These people are fucking creepy and weird. They use anon accounts and they go around and they say things and they go behind and they go into the DM. Dude, I don't care about any of this shit anymore. I mean, I'll talk about it. To be honest with you, because I know they don't like it when you talk about it. It triggers the shit out of them. So I don't mind trolling them a little bit because they're creepy and weird. I'm like, what are you gonna do?
Well, he shared a cartoon that to me was like really funny because of how silly it was, and it was to supposedly like lament how the long COVID community was so broken up and at war, and they showed this guy who looked very much like the picture of my profile at the time, lobbing a grenade at people who were supposed to be long COVID researchers.
Yeah. How many years ago was that? And how much fucking help have we gotten from any of them? Come on, man. Whatever. Who cares? And you know what? Anybody's entitled to their opinion about anything. And if you put yourself out there, Joe, that's what they're gonna do. But yeah, these people, they pretended that they wanted community. I think that's the worst part, is that they're just full of shit. I mean, they're just absolutely full of shit. Every step of the journey that I've been on in this Twitter space, like, I have had to deal with masses of people that are just completely and unapologetically lying all the time. All the time. So it's like, I'm like you. I've just lost interest in the conversation, like in that kind of conversation anymore, because it's like, this is unproductive, when it's just constantly being presented as like some kind of fantasy or something. It's weird, And then the folks that try, I mean, everybody's always got something. I mean, I think I just saw just recently that fucking goon Brad. Guy's a goon. Okay, he's been a goon for a long time, and people try to like extend the fucking olive branch to this guy many times. Even he and his fucking buddy Defrizz, who's like, dude, it's a cancer. They fucking had a breakup, because Brad can't get along with anybody. But like, there's always going to be these kinds of people. But you know, the Brads and stuff, like the guy, whatever he just said about the brunch space the other day or this morning or whatever it was. I mean, he's a fucking idiot, right? You just kind of sweep that away. But this other faction is the faction that is like, they want to control the narrative, and they're connected to able-bodied people and groups, and you know, they have a lot more. They're more organized, you know, and you're just always dealing with that, always. Yuck. Happy Hours event session. What's up, Calf? What's up, Dale? What's up, Felino? What's up, you guys? Grab a mic if you want.
I wasn't going to make this an actual happy hour, but now I want to drink.
Okay, you want to know where I'm at? Check this out. I had to go to Walmart to go get some new neoprene gloves because I go through them like crazy because of the bird poop. And I was on my way home, and I'm too stupid, and I got lost because I'm too stupid. So happy hour's on.
I keep trying to tell people that's a thing because I went somewhere that was supposed to take 10 minutes here and back. I don't drive often. My wife is like, why do you need to leave a half hour early? And damn good thing I did, because I got lost in our own neighborhood twice, once on the way there and once on the way back.
Hey, let the record show I just unblocked OQ. So if anybody's friends with him, tell him he can come in here. I want to shoot the shit with that guy for a minute.
Why? Nobody will understand a word he says.
It's cool. Captain Confusion. Let's get him in here. We can figure something out.
Captain Confusion. I prefer general gibberish.
Captain Confusion. General gibberish. Jesus Christ. The myth of the unsolved mystery thread. I'm a little different than that guy. I won't just God, I went into his space, man. I went in with my alt account. He's in there talking all this mad shit, just putting all this bullshit out on the timeline, and I'm just like, because I just go confront people, you know. I'm my mother's son. I will just get in people's face. I don't care. And I get into this space, and I'm like, yo, so what's up, OQ? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing it? Why? He couldn't make any sense of anything, and then he mutes me out. Guy fucking mutes me out like a little fucking weakling, and then he talks at me while I'm behind the mute. And then he kicks me out of the space, and he tells everybody Dave's a coward and left the space. I'm like, yeah, because my friends know that's my character. I'm going to fucking do that. Weirdo. Anyway, he's unblocked. He can come in here anytime he wants. It's like, there's like no point in blocking people either, Joe. Because like, all they do is like stalk your account anyway and screenshot like, fuck, it's a passion sport.
The guy's a first-class ass sniffer, seriously.
Well, he got paid
I
off.
remember the space
I
remember the space was supposed to be an opportunity for people to come in and like, you know, and speak frankly with one another, you know, and settle some beef. And instead, it was just, you know, him giving a certain group of people an opportunity to bitch out another group of people, you know.
He's just a drunk dude on the internet, man. You can't hate him for that. I don't hate him for that.
I hate him because he's a hypocrite.
I don't even hate the guy. I don't even hate the guy. I don't know the guy.
I hate the account. I can hate the account. The account's easy to hate or to look at and be like, I don't understand this, and I don't understand why you're always posting about sick people when you're not one yourself. Like,
man, you can extrapolate that. You can extrapolate that from the giant mountain of letters. I cannot fucking do it. Dude.
Because somehow the people in his thread are having conversations with him, and I can extrapolate what they're saying because it makes perfect sense. Yeah. You know,
like Queen of Pigs. Pigs.
It usually is a bunch of oinking, but you know.
The Queen of Pigs, dude. She's something else too. I worry about her mental health, man. I do. I worry about her mental health. Like, it's not okay to like get that. I mean, maybe it's good. Maybe she's just that miserable in life. Like, maybe just that miserable. This is like the way to let out the steam. Maybe that's it. Maybe this is the way that nobody gets hurt, dude. Maybe it's a good thing.
You know, Taylor is probably recording this right now.
Good. I'm recording it.
The difference is you don't have to put any effort into recording it. It just does it
The
all.
difference is I'm here and I own my shit. I don't care. I stand by what I say. And if I fuck up and I change my mind and go, that was dumb, I'll just come out and say, hey guys, that was dumb. I was wrong. I'm confident, man. I don't need to worry about that stuff. You know how many times I've been wrong? Jeez.
Let's see what Taylor with PEM is saying. I don't know what the name of the account. Something to that effect. Taylor with PEM is saying.
Trailer part 2.
Something like that.
I will clown on these people. I'm going full troll with this account before I dump it. I will clown on it. They'll be like, dude, I didn't know Dave was such a jerk. I'm like, y'all brought it out of me, man. I'm the nicest fucking pussycat in the world.
Hey, Dave, I
Got
just
you to
wanted to
freak
clear
out.
something up that you said earlier that Brad was talking about the brunch space. He wasn't talking about the brunch space. I would have just ignored him if he was talking about the brunch space. He
Oh,
was talking
I'm sorry.
about Becky and Jelly's space, which is why I said something, because I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, okay. Thanks for the clarity. I saw you reposted it. I assumed it was brunch.
No,
That's
I would
fucked
have
up.
ignored it.
Why is he dumping on that? That's a good space at night. There's nothing wrong with
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. And they fucking host it every night so that people who can't sleep, who have long COVID, have somewhere to go. Like, what the fuck?
Dude, I've been going in there like it's a great space. Like always good stuff going on in there. Good conversations. Yeah, you're always gonna have these kind of people. There's just no getting away from it. Even when I fucking was like, before I saw Daniel, I didn't like that Daniel both long COVID guy because they came in and attacked the lounge space and my friends and me, and I was like, what the hell, Back when I was like, oh, community, I, you know, I didn't really carry on much about that. I said a few things here and there, a little tongue in cheek in some spaces, uh, and I think Joe fucked around a little bit too, a few comments, but nothing bad. You weren't out there like I wasn't out there blasting on the guys. Like let them have their fucking space,
I just used
Like
to make Muppet posts and use like Kermit memes and stuff because just because it was fun. I like the Muppets. I don't see what's wrong with
Yeah.
the Muppets.
Well, it's also
Somebody had a Muppet problem though, Dave, because I got blocked once I started doing all the Muppet tweets.
I had a Muppet meme or a Muppet picture for a while. I don't know. It's like some of the stuff was very serious conversations. Like when the moonshot thing came out and patients here felt like they wanted to be part of the voice for the patients, right? And they weren't represented. And there was all this conversation happening in those spaces. That was important. Like when Deb stepped up in that space about moonshot, but they blocked half the community and said, like, that was really fucked up. But like most of the criticisms that I had towards some of that is just like tongue in cheek, Most of it's just tongue in cheek, like whatever. Like these kids need a fucking space where it's structured and they, need a safe space and everything. And like whatever, let them do that. They need 15 seconds to say what they say and no limits and fine, cool. A little butt hurt because you come into the scene and you're like telling everybody that these people are the space of hate. I mean, that's pretty uncalled for. And considering it's like a left siloed fucking conversation, you start talking about things like hate and misogyny and racism and all that stuff. It just, everybody's ears get perked and everybody's ready to fucking hit the cancel button. But like, really, it wasn't that big of a deal, Not that big of a deal. You're never going to shut Brad up. Nobody's ever going to shut Brad up. Brad be walking 10,000 steps a day and be like, this motherfucker's not as sick as me, Brad's just like that. Can we summon? Am I summoning them yet? Where are we at? Only 8 in the lurk box? That's embarrassingly low, Joe. What's up, Kath? How you doing today?
Oh, same shit, different day. It's just living the dream, having long COVID and having to take care of kids and work and all that shit. I envying all those people who don't have kids and don't have to go to work every day to make sure that they can eat. So
Hey, I don't have any kids and I don't go to work every day.
You're living the dream, my dude.
Eh, I did have to go to the doctor today. That was hard. I had my first normal blood pressure reading in 5 years. First normal blood pressure reading in 5 years at a doctor appointment. 173, or no, 117, I think, over 73, or 114 over 73, something like that.
That's pretty impressive. What did
Yeah,
you have to go
that
to
was
the doctor for today?
my shoulders. I don't know. I think I was trying to, because, I've had better baseline times since I've been in Washington. And a couple weeks ago, I got this crazy idea. I'd start trying to do some PT again on myself. And I don't know what it was, but I was just like, I wanted to lay on my bench. And I did a couple of bench press style things, but not with very much weight. And I just thought, no way would that mess me up. But I think it did. So I ended up with tendonitis and some problems in my shoulders. So that's all it was today. And what my doctor said too? She's like, I'm really surprised to see you here in person. It's the first time I've seen her in person in 2 years, over 2 years. And I go, what? She goes, it's bad out there. And I go, oh, I was feeling like calm too. And she's like, it's really bad. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, what? You talking about like flu and stuff? She's like, yeah, it's really bad. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Even my doctor's like Twitter doom scrolling. I know you got your kids. I heard them.
Yeah.
What's up, Lena?
Oh, I was going to make a joke earlier about Sean buying foot pics from me, but it didn't really
Do it.
happen.
It's okay.
Like, it would have gone with something you were saying about like the Ko-Fi, but
yeah, it's okay because like basically all the shit they say is bullshit anyway. So you can just make up whatever you want. It's Twitter. Just make it up.
yeah. No, nothing. I'm just kind of in a crash. Just chilling.
I'm sorry, dude. Well, Aaron made some green chili enchiladas the other day. We've still got the hatch chilies. We're going to make some more sauce tonight. I know that doesn't fix your crash, but it's going to happen.
I'm just popping COQ10s like candy. I figure that'll fix me.
Dude, I never took those yet. Are you really taking that, CoQ10?
Yeah, I take one a day. Yeah, and L-carnitine, and yeah, I'm like everything that says mitochondria on it. I'm just like blah, just like pouring it in my mouth.
Yeah.
It doesn't really. You still got to pace. Nothing. There's no cure.
It's because none of that stuff works, man. I don't
Not
know.
like it should.
Yeah. I mean, it might do something for you, but it's not curing this bullshit.
Yeah, Scotch works better.
Scotch. God, I wish I could drink, dude. Oh, I wish I could drink. That would see, we could just play the game of privilege. We could play the whole ladder of suffering where it's like caffeinated toddler be like, y'all don't know what it's like to take care of kids and have this disease. And then I'm like, yeah, you're right. I feel bad. Like I don't have to go to work. I don't have no kids. But I don't say I have to go to work. I say I don't get to go to work. But then I'll be like, Joe gets to drink. So what? But see, Joe has to take care of a kid. He doesn't have to go to work, but he has to take care of a kid, but he gets to drink. So does it all equal out?
He gets to drink. So that's a wash in the end. I don't get to drink. So I feel like I'm still winning at the biggest sucking at long COVID award.
Okay, I get to get called a rapist for a year on the internet. Does that has to count for all because I wanted to make noise for long COVID? I'm not saying I'm a martyr. I'm just saying it's got to be worth some points, man. It's got to be worth something. Like I took one for the fucking team to try and stop this shit from getting buried, even though I like had no power. and I blew an account that I could have at least at some point monetized and been a grifter with or whatever. So I got to get somewhere up on the ladder. Come on.
So it turns out whiskey and I guess alcohol is toxic to mitochondria. I just Googled that. Like anything I eat now, I'm just like, I Google that and mitochondria. See what
It's a
it tells
lie.
me. It's a lie.
It also has antihistamines. It's got antioxidants, so they kind of cancel each other out.
It's got vibes. It makes you feel a way.
I do wonder what my blood pressure actually was before I drank the liquid IV and without the white coat syndrome. Because I woke up this morning and I was like, honey, my blood pressure is low. I can tell. Low. I don't think it was normal.
I bought
I'm
the,
like,
what is it called? Essential minerals or whatever.
what is that? We like,
It's like liquid. It's electrolytes. Oh, it's called Trace Minerals. That's the company. They just like, that's their thing, is like liquid trace minerals, just like adding minerals to your stuff. You said liquid IV. I tried that one too.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, you got all the stuff. You're like supplement rich.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Dude.
I just hear one of the new age rap songs like that, supplement rich, with some mumble rap going on in there or something.
You can't afford your supplements. You can't afford your
I'm a
supplements.
supplement, man. My supplement. Oh yeah, somebody got to do. I'm gonna put that in Chat GPT. I really did get lost in my own city. I really did, because I can't talk and drive at the same time.
Seattle doesn't seem that easy to get around.
It's not. It was dumb for me to go pick up the stuff at like 3:45 in the afternoon. It's 5:20 now. I left the house at like 3:45.
I was just gonna say, are you still driving?
Yeah, I got lost. Just like on the Discord calls, I get lost. I don't have.
Lost is just a state of mind, my friend.
I mean, I'm here on Earth. It's a matter of scale.
The journey is the destination.
Yeah, it's a matter of being lost it's about scale. Like I'm still in
At my
Washington.
long COVID Prophet, we're not focused on goals and destinations. We're focused on the path forward together.
Yeah,
Vibes.
yeah. The path, the way. This is the way. Just call whatever I have PEM, ignore it until it turns into a stroke. This is the way. Fuck it. Fuck. I'm screwed. This is not the exit I was searching for. Is OQ here yet?
Where I live, there's only two freeways and they intersect each other. So you really can't get lost.
Yeah.
As opposed to somewhere like Seattle.
I like it down there, man. I wish Aaron would have been down to move there. Oh shoot, I was ready to go be there.
I wonder where the biggest bird flu poo dust storm is going to be, you know?
It's my house. My
Oh,
house, dude.
yeah, shit.
So as soon as it dries out, it's going to be my house, and we're right next to it. My car is 3 feet from essentially a bird shit quarry. Like you could basically use my front yard. You could like call that like a fertilizer factory. It's that bad, dude.
Yeah, you need some spikes, some bird deterrents. Oh no, well they don't care about that. They're digging in the trash can.
Dude, these birds are monster birds, man. You can look it up, the Bothell crows. Look it up, Okay, the Bothell crows. It's a real thing. It's like a bajillion crows that fly twice a day over us. It's like a
What are they
super
called?
cluster.
What kind of crow?
It's called the Bothell crows. Bothell crows. Okay, twice a day they fly over. So some of them, they're hip to the game at my place. They know that like that's the place you go to get the grub at the garbage. That's where you go. And they meet up, and there's like all these fucking seagulls that hang out and different other birds that show up, like, and then squirrels come out, and it's like a fucking, I swear to God, dude, it's like a Pixar movie, but they're real. And they're out there and they're doing like this thing. They tear apart the garbage, and the garbage is everywhere, and they shit everywhere. And I mean, I could take a picture of my car,
It's a
dude.
phenomenon. So it's not a breed of crow. It's called the Bothell crows, and it's
Yeah.
like a regional gang of
Yeah.
crows.
Yeah, dude. And some of them are just thugs.
Yeah, they got gold chains on and shit.
I'm telling you, man. It's bad. It's bad. Every single morning, dude, I wake up and there's probably like 40 or 50 crows. And that's not the Bothell crows, like a million. It's like crazy. But there's like 40 or 50 crows outside with like 10 to 20 seagulls at peak. And they're just ripping apart the garbage, and it's kind of on a hill, and they're like tumbling it down the way, and they're shitting everywhere. But as you get closer to the garbage bin, that has the dumpsters, there's more and more poop until it's basically just white. The ground is just white. Right? I mean, it's that bad, dude. Like, you walk on that shit, it's like you're slipping and sliding on it.
Here.
Okay.
Breaking.
Am I rubber banding?
Breaking. No, I was gonna say breaking news. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but they're totally mad. They're big mad right now. Let's see. Quote: lying piece of shit, Joe racist dickhead.
God.
Sorry, I'm not done yet. Is accusing OQ of not being sick. Dave is calling me the queen of pigs after a few days ago saying he suddenly realized I was mentally ill and he hoped I could find peace. LOL, what an asshole, end quote.
Wait, am I an asshole for hoping she can find peace? Wait a second. What's going on here? Is this Twitter trolling?
Bro, I mean, talk about unhinged. Look at how she began this. Lying piece of shit, Joe racist dickhead.
Dude, do you remember how it started? Like, she was just coming into spaces and she just wanted to hear herself talk. I didn't even know who she was. And then she did that shit in the LCAP space, and then she just completely lost it. And then she ran around the fucking internet telling people that I physically threatened her. And then I ended up in a goddamn space before I was just like, I can't do this anymore with these people. And I had to apologize to her for like 6 hours fucking straight, what it felt like. And she was just like, no, I don't accept it. Apologize to me. Okay, I'm sorry. No, I don't accept it. Apologize to me. Okay, I'm sorry. No, I don't accept it. Fuck it. It's just like, oh, this is dumb. This is dumb, man. I don't know. Whatever she's drinking's good, though. I wonder if you think she's like a malt liquor kind of person, or you think it's like whiskey tequila. You think it's Hards?
I don't know what it is, man. I think it's what was that stuff called? The green stuff, the green fairy.
Oh no! Don't ruin my absinthe. Don't ruin my absinthe.
Yeah, it's that with the wormwood in it. Yeah.
Don't ruin my absinthe. Oh my god.
It's gotta be absinthe.
I wonder if they think this is a troll space. They like it because they like negative attention, because they like attention, because they're narcissists. So they like this. So I'm giving them what they want. And I unblocked OQ to see if he'd come in. So he's unblocked. I know he's listening. So he's got to hear that. What's it got to be like to be a dude? And to hear some other guy be like, yeah, I'm right here waiting for you. And you're like hiding, but you're listening. Like, what is it like to be a man to do that? Like, I need to understand what that's fucking like. Because where I come from, like, I'm not like, I'm alpha male, but I am like a black coffee, fucking red meat, rare, took care of my brothers and my mom, fucking handle business kind of guy. And I just wonder, like, what it's like to be that kind of a dude. Like to jump on the internet and be like, blah, 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 and then like hide. And like, what the fuck is that? I don't want him to explain it to me because it'll take 6 fucking hours. This is a fucking classic. These guys got nothing on me, dude. I've been so reserved with this goddamn space. I have been so reserved, dude. I could rip these people fucking to shreds with my words.
But this is funny. I'm still like getting a kick out of this lying piece of shit joke.
Wake him up. Don't.
I haven't even had a drink. I haven't even had a drink yet. I'm just drinking some hot decaf coffee because it helps settle my stomach issues. And I gotta. I'm. Thank you, Peg. I needed a laugh. That was hilarious. That was like the highlight of my day reading that. Lying piece of shit. Joe raises dick. Oh man, big
That's
mad,
cool.
big mad. It's really funny.
That's word of the week for me. The phrase of the week, Big Mad. They are.
This is funny. I mean, haven't they figured out that I never really posted about them or posted like in reply to them. I only did it when they came into my thread. And then I got tagged for harassment only because I was just replying with, silly stuff and, gifs of like pigs and stuff. I don't know why anybody would be offended by a cute little pig.
I mean, she kind of looks like a pig, dude. That's the whole point. Like, that's why it's funny. That's why it's funny, dude. It's why it's funny. Look, I look like a rat, right? That's what they say all the time because they see my face with a 16 millimeter. They see my face with a 16 millimeter camera on it. And it fucking warps my face. So they call me a rat. Well, I don't know what camera she's using, but whatever one it is, it makes her look like a pig. That's just a fucking fact. That's why she's the queen of pigs. She also wallows around in the mud. So, I mean, how much? I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? I think it's kind of funny, right? I'll be the rat guy. I'll be the rat guy. She can be the pig person. It's cool. We can treat this shit like old McDonald's farm. At the end of the day, dude, it's she just looks like a pig. I saved. I that was a save. I almost tried to just tone it down a little bit.
Dude, you just made me like spill my hot coffee on myself because I laughed so hard.
I want them to keep calling me a bully in perpetuity until they actually find out what it's like to be bullied. Like I really want them to keep doing it. I don't even think it's possible for me to bully them. Like they're able-bodied, aren't they? Like OQ has a fucking job and stuff. Like Peg has a job. Like they can go run and stuff, right? Like you can go to their timelines and it's just never ending. I'm like, I'm the bully. Okay, all right, all right.
You want to hear some fuckery? So I'm
Yeah.
sitting at the pharmacy picking up my meds, and I like just went through a couple of weeks ago getting my insurance to finally cover my new drug for my new brain drug, and I just came to come pick up my to pick up my next month's supply, and now they're telling me that my insurance isn't covering it again and told me it was going to be $1,200. Like, didn't get a notice, didn't get anything, just came to pick up my meds, and she's like, that's $1,200. Like, it's no big deal.
Wait. The recent one that you've been on?
Yeah, the one that they like literally just approved 2 weeks ago and said that they would cover. I just came to pick it up, and now they're saying they're not going to cover it.
We need another Mangione.
I'm just saying, just saying. It's Aetna, if anybody cares.
How in the hell is it possible for there to be 20 million Americans that have long COVID? And I'm just saying only one Mangione. Only one. How is that even possible? There's like a law of averages that should dictate how many there should be, and I believe it should be more. I'm sorry, Calf.
It's just, the story of our life. That's what we've been dealing with for the last 5 years. We find something that helps and then they take it away. That's just what we do.
All I know is loss. I went down to my old town yesterday. I went driving around a little bit, and I just got hit with the deepest, most profound sense of grief. It was so bad. It was so bad, man. It was like I was thinking about all the good times in the past and everything, and I was just like it was just like it was yesterday, and just all this. And there's some things that happened, that I said goodbye to before I got sick too. Just I'm actually like a really sentimental person. I think I get attached to people. I get attached to communities, things like that. I think that's why I had such a hard time with drama in this space, because I actually cared, you know. But I went through that town, and I say cared because I care about the people I care about, but the idea of that fucking whatever on Twitter is I'm done. I'm done with that. But it was just such a profound feeling of deep, deep loss and sadness. And just, oh, it's like a demon, dude. You got to battle it. You got to battle it with positive thinking. It's going to be okay. You're going to get past it or whatever. I mean, you have to. Dollars to donuts that Sean Burke's back on this platform with a shit account stalking my fucking timeline. Gold nuggets to donuts that he's probably listening right now. You can come in here and talk if you want, bud. After all, this space is for you in OQ.
I'm sorry.
Are we fired, Dale? Are we fired?
This is boring. Out on the timeline, Peg is running around acting like a plucked chicken, saying word for word, and oh my god, and this and that.
Peg can make an alt account and come in here and get a.
Jeez, she's just out there, just plucked, making this all about her, and it's like, come on in, OQ.
Come on in.
I mean, this is just too fucking funny. It's unreal. It's like a Muppet story. This needs to be animated. I mean, this is just too fucking unreal for this to be happening like this. It's just bizarro.
I'm just giving them their time, dude. They're just getting water right now. They're just getting water.
Well, come on in, guys. Grab a mic.
You can't fucking get rid of these weeds. You might as well water them and grow and see what kind of shit flowers they'd fucking bloom, you know?
No shit. No shit.
Bro, I hate you, man. You guys are making me laugh too hard. I'm drinking hot black coffee, and I'm soaked right now because I keep spitting it out all over myself. Every time I take a sip, somebody says something and make me laugh, and I'm just spitting it all over myself, and I'm burning myself. I think I burned the back of my throat too, motherfucker.
That's great. Love burn. Love burn. Feel the burn, Joe.
Not that burn.
I hope a few of my friends who are no longer on this platform are listening into this too, because they're probably getting a kick out of it.
This is funny because I'm looking at this on the timeline.
Think about it for a second. What is it? It's like making fun of people, joking around, making fun of people that you don't even know. You know what I mean? I don't fucking know OQ. Dude, I don't know Peg. I don't know these people. They don't know me. They're just like accounts on Twitter, and they decided to troll my ass to no end for like a year and a half or whatever. And I'm at the point where I have zero fucks to give about like my image in this weird leftist space on Twitter. So, like, fuck them, dude. You know what I mean? That guy's like, he's a complete drunk, from what I can tell. And it's funny because you need like a Rosetta Stone thing to decode his threads, and she looks like a pig, and that's the end of it.
The rant on me continues, but apparently now it continues about you and immediately starts attacking Sean, who left the platform because of Gabe's
Sean
bullying.
fished for my fucking address because he's a psychopath. And he fished for other
weirdly,
people's address too. Come on.
weirdly, he invites OQ and Sean to speak in his space, but not me. You scared, big guy? And now sexual
God, no,
predator
it's
Dale is babbling. What a pile of
oh
shit
my
these
God.
people are.
Jesus Christ, sexual predator. This is wild. I love it. It's crazy town.
Yeah, and I'm a racist, apparently.
We're all the things, Joe. We're all the things for so long that those things don't even matter anymore. These are the kind
She
of
doesn't
people
even.
these are the kind of people who ruin everything. They ruin everything. And you know what? People listening in, they don't care, dude. They don't care. I could get as vulgar as I want. And it's not because they don't have fucking morals or standards or class. It's because they've been watching these cocksuckers do this shit for fucking a year and a half. These people like deserve to be canceled, really, but you can't cancel them because it's Twitter. What can you do? They're nobody's anyways. They're just a fucking thorn in everybody's side. It's like the only air that they get is when we give it to them. That's all that fucking matters. Like Pegaloy, irrelevant. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody cares about what Pegaloy has to say in Long COVID land. Not a single fucking person. Nobody. We could never talk about her again, and she would wallow in the mud pit that is her own personal hell and fucking say all kinds of terrible things about me, and it wouldn't make a damn diddly fucking mouse shit of a difference in my world or anybody else's. It's like they're nobody. It's irrelevant. This is just fun because it's riling them up. Nobody's fucking hiding the fact that I'm not hiding the fact that I'm trolling the shit out of them right now. Are you? They're so easy to goddamn bait. It's pathetic. They come into a community full of sick people and they cause all kinds of havoc and harm all kinds of people and really make people feel more alone. That's what happened. They made them feel more alone because they stopped people from talking. They stopped community from forming. They stopped people from doing spaces. They helped to produce these fucking block lists. They shut people up. They silence people. They're fucking cunts, man. Capital CUNTS. That's what they are. Okay? And people know it. They know it. They
It's
know it.
funny, man. There's another one. Another one. Dave, I can rip these people to shit with my words, man. Lying POS, racist dickhead Joe. Thanks for the laugh.
Oh, I'm so glad I got lost because the space is probably going to go down when I hit my like airport alone. And we just got so much more fun time in.
I can't even read it. It's just making me laugh.
What I want to
Oh my
know
god.
is what Sean was planning to do with my address. I want to know what Sean's planning to do with the other address he was fishing for too. I mean, he's into me. I've seen the thread, but to do all that, to like seriously, I know he didn't
Oh,
break the law because I talked to the police, but I want to know, like, why is he looking for my address? What is his plan? What are his plans?
and saying I look like a pig. LOL. Are you 12 years old? You're a misogynist, lying, narcissistic drunk. I pity you.
Yeah, these people, dude. These people, man.
Oh my god.
I've never made a fucking thing up in my life on this platform about me, who I am, what I do, where I come from. Like, I presented myself as authentically as I possibly could. And I just don't understand why these people think they're going to get away with fucking with me. Like, I just do not get it. I do not get it. I guess because it's just Twitter and they could just do that, whatever. But it's like, okay, well, you ever want to take it a step further? Like, you're not going to be happy with results. I just don't understand it, man. Like, what's the point? What's the point? I mean, I guess I know Peg's a drunk and OQ's a drunk, but Jesus Christ, man, annoying. I'm putting this one up on the YouTubes. This space will go on the YouTubes. Just no pictures, just the voice.
I still can't believe that post. That post is crazy.
What did she use to describe you first? Racist, stupid, or jackass, or misogynist?
No, she said. I mean, I put it up in the banner of your space because it's hilarious. Lying piece of shit, Joe racist dickhead.
Oh, lying is okay. So you're lying, all right? Lying is number
No,
one.
no, no. It's a whole lot of superlatives. I'm a lying piece of shit, Joe racist dickhead.
This is like the Skid Row of long COVID land, man.
Dude, I don't think any of my students in some of my toughest classes ever came up with a name like that for me or anyone that.
Dude,
that
you know what's fucking loads of fun? Go to Peg's timeline and search the word asshole. Just choose random cuss words and just do it.
Oh, totally. Now I'm totally gonna do that.
Yeah, plug those into ChatGPT and then get an 8-year-old voice to read off all of her tweets that have those words in it. Oh, dude. Endless hours of fun.
It's funny, I don't know why it doesn't work. Interesting.
No, I seriously just, I would say that I feel bad for those people, but I'm just apathetic. I don't care. I don't care. I'm just laughing.
Oh, now Trailer Park Trash is getting in on it. So is Regina.
Regina's an interesting one. Regina's a really interesting one. That was really weird. I never had
Dave
no.
is
I knew
screaming.
she was in the Mean Girls chat. I knew that much, and they were talking shit in their chat about everybody. But I wasn't there. But I never had nothing to do with her. It was just when Sita got weird that Regina got weird. And I don't know her. I don't know these people, bro. I don't know these people. Like, they're like circles on a phone that we had a few like interactions on Twitter a few times, and maybe like a total of like 5 minutes or something in spaces ever of like back and forth conversation, like all together. I mean, you could throw that great actress into a little bit more, because she came into my space asking me to cancel you, and I was like, sorry, it doesn't work that way. But basically, I just don't know these people, man. I don't know them, but at least one of them wants to get know me. They want my address. You can't tell me that's not creepy, dude. People going around to people's Ko-Fis that they've been stalking and donating $5 at a time to try and get addresses, to try and get shipping addresses. You can't tell me that that's not creepy. I mean, look, I'm not as big as I used to be, but I'm not a tiny guy, and I protect myself. But like, I'm worried about some of the fucking women in this community who are alone, right? And I'm not trying to like lead into anything. Like, that's a real thing. That's a real fucking thing, you know? So it's crazy times, man.
Yeah, it is. And since Miss Taylor's listening, I know you're Miss Nasty Mouth, and you're just fucking vulgar as shit. And you're a little shit disturber. It's just, you came off and said you were a CNA and blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? You fucking harassed some patients, and that's bullshit. And you hid under that nasty mouth account, and you did some nasty shit. And you want to sit there and call me a fucking predator and nail me to the wall? No, Miss Taylor, that ain't it, Miss Chemist. I'm not playing on that shit. And the narrative didn't fucking work, and people blew that out of the water. And so I just want to call your little shit out too, because you're shit disturbing right up there with Sean and, delivering the message. And I just want to call you out and give you a special thanks.
Didn't Taylor's first account got canceled because she was like racist and shit? That's what's weird. Like, they roll in these crews.
I believe it.
Like,
I believe it.
Oh yeah, that's why it's part due. That's what I'm told, anyways. Is she had the one account, and I remember that, the first account, and then that got suspended or whatever. Now she's got the second. I don't even know if it's a dude or I don't know these people. I don't know anything about them.
Right?
They're just like just anon fucking accounts on Twitter and whatever. I mean, I don't know. OQ wanted to host spaces. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know, man. I care about people who have long COVID that are honest, decent fucking people, man. The rest of them could just fuck off.
Well, she tried to retweet some drama and against another fucking female space host, and it was just like, I saw that and I'm just like, you know what? You've been doing some nasty shit against these spaces and peer support. You've been instigating. I don't know what her problem is. I don't understand why she. It's like, if I can't have it, you can't have it type of thing. I don't understand this deal. Why this disruption of patience and peer support?
These people are disturbed, man. They're disturbed. I told you, they're just chaos. They've been this way. I've been dealing with it behind the scenes and on the timeline and on these spaces for a long time now. They're just disturbed. And if you fire back at them or defend yourself against their bullshit, you get more of it. There's like no stopping it. It just grows. It's endless because they need help. They need help. And that's not my fucking problem that they need help either. They're going to listen into this. They're going to listen into this. They're going to hear my voice saying that, and they are going to lose their fucking mind. And it's like, why? Why are you even here listening? Why do you care? Nobody'd be talking about you if you weren't causing a bunch of fucking problems for everybody. But Dave said Penn's bad. Shut the fuck up. Shut the literal fuck up. I've been very clear about how I feel about all that stuff. That's not going to change. Like if you think you're going to fucking get somebody to be outraged about something I say about Penn at this point, you are out to lunch.
Be careful.
Ooh.
Stalkers, they're just getting wet listening to you right now.
Jesus Christ. Oh, come on.
Especially OQ.
You have full utterly on
Why
me.
don't we have a puke emoji? Why do we not have a puke reaction? This is bullshit.
Wait, what do you want to puke on?
Dave, I know that we're both adults and everything, but please don't ever ask me that question again.
Okay, wait. What do we need the puke emoji for in this particular instance?
Joe, I appreciate the fact that you got that joke because this is why we're friends.
Is that a thing too? Is puking a thing too? Okay, I get the other stuff. I've heard about the other stuff. Is puking a thing too? Oh my god. Oh my god.
Dave, you're so sheltered and naive with things like this, and it makes my day every time I get to burst your little naive bubble and inform you of something just utterly disgusting that people do.
No, come on, man. I was a bartender for 20 years. I got stories that would make Ron Jeremy blush. Come on, man.
I still think we need to have a story hour about that, and you just tell stories from when you were a bartender.
Look, I had a bisexual girlfriend for about a year and a half who was obsessed with me, and I did everything I could to get away from that.
I have to ask you a serious question. Did she brand you?
She did not brand me, but she knew how to keep me around.
Bro, now we're colonizers. What the fuck?
Who cares? Who cares what we are in the mind? Who cares what we are in the mind of unsolved mysteries, dude? Who gives a shit?
OQ likes to talk about dog whistles. That sounds like a dog whistle. That's like the blood libel they like to use against Jews in the Middle East. They call the most indigenous people in the world to that region colonizers. It's pretty funny, actually.
Don't let them fucking troll you. Don't let them bait you with some stupid words.
They don't even know who I am besides the fact that I'm Jewish because I share it all over the place.
It's not even going to matter what he says because in about 3 hours, he's not going to remember anything he fucking says.
Oh my
This is
god.
just a complete clown fucking show. This is a complete. We're just clowning the shit out of these people, and literally inviting them to come in. Come on, OQ, come in. We can rank on each other back and forth. We can just go back and forth. You can say stupid stuff, and then I'll say stupid stuff, and then we'll let the jury decide. We'll let the jury decide who is right and who is wrong.
Makes me nostalgic. And I don't feel nostalgic often toward my teaching days before I became disabled, but it does remind me of, like, some days I would just sit back and laugh at this insane stuff that my kids would say. And it was not the adult thing to do, technically. Like, you should tell them to shut up, don't say stuff like that. But it sometimes it's just funny. Sometimes it's just funny, you know?
Oh, disclaimer. This is all just fun and games. I mean, these people like to have fun and games, right? At our expense. Like that's all they're doing, right? We can't actually say that like they're harming us or anything. I can't say they're harming me, right? I'm not allowed to say that. So it must just all be in jest. It's all just fun and games, tongue in cheek, you know. Take it with a grain of salt. So I'm just returning the favor. This is just fun and games. Fun and games. Until you show up at my fucking house.
Speaking of showing up at your house, uh, I have to go to Salt Lake City for work in July. I'm going to come and get you, and we're going to do like a long COVID road trip. Okay. Say that one more time in English.
I'm down for a long COVID road trip.
I'm just saying, right? It'll be
I,
fun.
I
I'll
like
bring
Salt Lake City.
snacks.
Show
I like Salt Lake
show
City.
up at my place, you better bring beer. Show up at my place, you better bring beer.
I will bring you beer. I will bring you my favorite beer from Salt Lake City.
What is your favorite beer from Salt Lake City, just out of curiosity?
It is because I have long COVID brain. I can't remember the name of it right now, but there's this little pub that serves it. I've never been able to find it in a store, but it is a chocolate stout, and it's made
Oh,
by a
those
local brewer.
those are my favorite. There's like those are, I miss going to these places, and like it's been years since I've had a beer on tap because I just can't go anywhere. But it's like being able to like try those places at like the brew pubs and the microbrews. It's just fun. It was like my version of wine tasting because I'm not really into wine. I was like a huge, huge, huge like beer
Are
aficionado.
you the fucking
You know,
guy who wants to taste the little beers and taste samples and then does a little sip and then like has the funny face, have the look on his face? And he's like,
yeah,
I'll try
that's
another one.
me. That
Oh,
was well,
Y-
that was me. I can't drink like that anymore because you in order to like really have fun doing that, you need to try like at least 20, 30 beers per night. And you've got to like that's how you really live it up. And you go to multiple brew pubs and multiple like breweries and the more you do in a day the better because your palate, you know,
right.
you if you do it, here's the thing: if you're actually comparing beers, brewery to brewery, genre to genre of like beer, then if you're doing it over multiple days, I mean, your palate is going to have a hard time remembering from one to the other. So if you can get a bunch of them in, remember for one of my friend's birthdays, he's like, "Yeah, we're just going to go brewery hopping essentially all day." As we did, it was the best experience. But I couldn't totally enjoy it because I had to drive home at the end of the day. So, you know,
Yeah.
so like you can take a sip of each beer, which I guess is fine. But for me at the time before I got sick, I would just I could easily drink like 7, 8 beers in a sitting, and I was a small guy, but over several hours, it's not that difficult. Unless you're drinking imperials that are like 11 and 12% alcohol, then you're gonna be really, really drunk for like three. I don't recommend that, especially if you have POTS.
Oh my God, I just got a message from one of our friends that God, oh
Ooh,
man, I'll send it to you.
fair.
I'll send it to you in the signal. It's good.
So funny.
If the space goes dead, does anybody want to co-host? I just need a co-host real quick because I'm going to go into a dead zone and the space might die.
I can't stay on much longer.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if more people don't want to come up and talk, then I probably won't keep it going anyways. I don't like to like carry the space at this point. I never really did ever. People are like, dude likes to hear himself talk and stuff. No, dude, I just don't like dead space. That's all. Fucking, I ramble. I ramble. It's hard. Fucking isolate for 5 years. It's hard.
Oh, there's more. Now lying piece of shit racist dickhead Joe is reading my tweet. Wow. Guys, are you that desperate? LOL. Well, clearly she doesn't understand that. Clearly she doesn't understand that, yeah, we kind of are desperate. That's the only reason we're on here.
These
What's your excuse, bitch? Seriously. Dave is unhinged and lying like a crazy person and ranting some obnoxious macho nonsense. LOL. Pathetic. What a pussy dick coward you are, Dave.
oh, whatever. At least people can understand me. Jesus Christ.
We're also all bootlicking sycophants. So that's
They should know by the name. They
this
should
is
know by
fun.
the fucking name of the space what this is about. They should know. Nobody's hiding anything.
All I gotta say is I'm like Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction. I don't dig on swine.
Yeah. People, at this point, it's just the same as it's always been. I take things as seriously as they are, you know? Like I could turn around and I could turn this space into a let's talk about fucking long COVID and let's talk about and we could all have a conversation and get into have real honesty and be completely everything else. And that's fine. We can still do it. We're all, we're also allowed to have a little fun. I like the
They
fact that
hold
the
no
people I
more.
call friends here are not. Go ahead.
They hold no more power, and it's just fucking funny. And all you can do is just laugh at them and just recognize the mental illness and the alcohol addiction that's going on. And so, four-letter word for that now. Next, it's all you can do is laugh. It's just there's nothing else to do.
I'm not going to deny that I'm not just. This is just rage.
So I'm pretty sure that the reason my insurance isn't covering my prescription is because they're no longer covering COVID related stuff for anything. And because all of the medications that I am on now are because of COVID, they're not going to cover them any longer. Because I wasn't on anything before because I didn't have any health problems before. And now I'm on like 16 different drugs and they're not going to cover them anymore. Which means they're probably also not going to cover any of my specialists or my blood work that I have to have done or any of that.
But they were covering it and now they're not, like all of a sudden today.
Not today at the first of the year. I haven't had to get anything filled yet. And I haven't had to go to the doctor yet. So I'm finding this out a little late, apparently.
And you pay for insurance, right?
What was that? Say that again.
And you're paying for your insurance.
Yeah, it's through work.
Yeah. It's like, that sucks. Fuck that. I can only see this shit getting worse with Trump too.
I should have caught this when I had to go pick up my inhaler a couple of weeks ago, because my inhaler was a different price. And normally I get 2 a month and I only had one. And it's normally like a $10 copay. And it was like a weird amount and some change. And I was just like, oh, that's weird. And I just assumed it was because maybe I hadn't reached like my deductible or anything, because like the year reset or something. But now I'm like, oh, it's because they're not covering my stuff anymore, and that's what it was after like the pharmacy discount or whatever.
Am I back? Did it crash?
No, you're good.
No, you're back.
Sweet. I made it back into the safe Wi-Fi zone.
I'm just gonna use this opportunity to put out the vibe. If there's a young COVID cautious Barbara Streisand out there wants to be my communist trad wife out in the middle of nowhere about
Ooh. Describe a
I don't know.
describe a
If
communist
you're
trad
into
wife.
like bald gingers who sometimes are funny, Fellini's your guy. I'm just saying.
That's dope, dude. I'm into that. I mean, but I'm straight. But like, here's the deal. Like if he came in a woman package and I was single, like maybe, yeah, sure. But like, what's a trad commie wife?
I know, I don't know. I made that shit up.
I know, but we can go somewhere with this.
Yeah. Oh god, my brain's not working. I can't think of it. It needs to be at a lower elevation, I think. I don't think I can handle this altitude anymore.
It messed me up, dude.
I'm like, especially when there's weather. There's like weather rolling in today, and like my tinnitus just spikes. But that's okay. It just is what it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Word, I know what you're saying. I'm making some in the next few days. If I hold up and I'm able to do my video, I'm doing some bourbon, some bacon infused bourbon.
I had the bacon beer that Rogue Brewing made one time, and that shit, it was like bacon and maple. It was disgusting. It was like so gnarly. It was like a syrupy, like pancake breakfast
No,
with
no,
in
ugh.
a bottle.
No, no. This is a fat wash. This is different, but it's you can only keep it for like 2 weeks. So I'm only going to use like to make the video. I was gonna give it away, but I'm just gonna make a half batch
How was it not like all like goopy and oily?
because
Like,
you basically you freeze the fat in the liquor and then you pull it out and extract it while it's frozen, and the alcohol takes the flavor and some of the oil, so it does change the mouthfeel a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I feel bad. I got a message on my Patreon from somebody. I won't name them. It's not important, but I mean I wouldn't, but I do credits for people who support me on the Patreon, like just at the end of the video. I mean, it's nothing. It's the least I can do, right? And I didn't realize that I was leaving this person out like a bunch. Like I just found out. I felt so bad, dude. I was like, please forgive me. Like, let me make it up. Sorry, I've been in my drink making headspace lately a lot. It's a happier space than
I could see the whiskey and bacon going well together
it
somehow.
does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it actually, so there's something, so it's a technique. It's called fat washing. Okay, it's just infusing, but it's called fat washing. And the way it's done is you heat a fat, an oil. You heat olive oil, sesame oil, coconut oil, bacon grease, duck fat, whatever. You heat it up and then you mix it into the liquor, and then you cool the mixture to the point where the fat solidifies. Then you take it out and then you strain it further, and then you have basically a fat infused liquor. But the bacon one is kind of a big deal because the whole fat washing thing began with that. Some guy in New York City at this bar called PDT. It's called Please Don't Tell, which was an extension of a restaurant called Gifts, I think, or Griffs. Anyway, it's like a little speakeasy, and he decided to try this, and it was a huge hit. And so it took off, and everybody started making bacon old fashions, all over the country and all over the world. But immediately people started saying, well, why not other fats? Why not do other things? And so it just became like a staple. And now it's like, it's a serious technique that's used in bar, like craft bars and things like that. So even if you watch like competition shows, you'll often see they're going to fat wash this or that. They'll do milk clarification and all these different techniques. And so I'm not really getting into the heavy stuff with my channel right now because I'm just not there yet. But I'm kind of excited to do something a little bit different. It'll be fun.
You can make one with salmon and call it the Slammin' Salmon.
Gross, dude. Gross. But you might be onto something. I don't know.
Olive oil? You could do olive oil though. That could be okay.
Oh, olive oil's great. Olive oil and like really, really clean vodka. Oh, it's fucking good, man. Even gin, really good in gin.
Do they make drinks with Sichuan pepper?
Yeah, you do
What?
Sichuan stuff. Yeah, oh yeah. Peppers are easy to do infusions, and infusions will keep. Fats, they're different. They go rancid, depending on the fat, and you got to be careful if you're using animal fats too. But peppers are really easy.
Chicken? Beef?
Yeah, I don't know about chicken, dude. I don't know. I'm sure it's been done. People do it like avocado, and I've seen like corn infusions, which were really interesting because I like the agave spirits. So like that Mexican, New Mexican, Southwest, south of the border, those flavors.
There's atole, the corn drink that people make.
Yeah. Is that the alcoholic one?
No, that's pulque. That stuff's nasty.
Oh yeah, pulque. That's the one. Gross. It's gross. Oh man. Well, I can keep the space open, you guys. I gotta walk away for just a second, but does anybody want like the mic at all? You guys can come up and just have a space to chat and keep it open. But I do have to tend to a couple of things for a bit. I packaged it nicely for OQ. And we can shift topics. We can take it from Dave and Joe trolling the trolls to whatever. Yeah, so anyway, I'll be back in a bit.
Sorry, we're doing homework, but I'm still listening. I promise. Fellini, tell us a joke.
Well, I don't have a joke, but I did see one piece of good news. I think it's from like one of those corny good news Instagram reels. and there was some place in Europe where they were going to spend like millions of dollars to like restore this wetland, and like before they could like even begin construction or whatever, like some beavers like did it, and they did it like even better than what they would have been able to do with their budget. And I thought that was cute, and everybody clapped, and we were happy. So go beavers.
Hello, caffeinated Dale, Dave, Queenie.
Hello.
I classify myself as dealing with the raising children, but I think caffeinated still wins for me. You win it in the long COVID sweepstakes.
Yeah, we need to all show up to Etna. So caffeinated, I was on Etna, and I was like, they did this thing. Like I was like really poor working for, I forget where I was working, but they signed you up for insurance, and you weren't allowed to not take it. And I had to be like, don't give me your shitty insurance. Like I like the insurance I have. And Aetna would just like not leave me alone. And I had to like beg and pry and call around, and I had to like get the official letter from my employer saying like, no, he doesn't have your insurance. We post dated this or predated it. Like this is null and void, according to us. And then I had to like save the PDF from Aetna that was like, you do not have or never had insurance with us, because they tried to do it to me again and were like, you owe us money. I'm like, you guys are crazy. They're like as evil as they're like Verizon, where they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. And that's how they get money from people. But it's like, what the fuck? She can't get her medications that are costing a bunch of money. It's like, what are you insured for then? Like, what the fuck?
Did they send you a letter or no? Not yet.
Etna, yeah, I finally have a letter that like the last time I got something, I was like, hey, like on the phone, I was like, I have a, I have a PDF. Like I have this saved piece of email that tells you that you're wrong. Because they're like, we don't do that here. Like, like Etna's the worst. That place is toxic. Man. Yeah, I saved it. I'm not good at keeping records now with long COVID. It's hard.
And I don't remember things a lot. Don't remember. I don't remember what happens to me during the day. And yeah, I've been getting lost too. I had to drive my daughter to something. So I wasn't, because I drive the same exact pattern. And as long as I drive the same exact pattern, I'm okay. But I had to take her somewhere else because my husband was gone. And then I didn't know where I was. I did not know.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impossible for me to get lost where I live, but it's a smaller city and it's a grid and there's like literally two freeways that intersect each other. And so it's just like, and you have mountains on one side. So, but I could see in a big city getting lost, especially if it's flat. Like if I don't have a landmark, I'm screwed. Something about not making new memories, though, too. That stuff's hard.
I think I was doing better when I was playing trivia. But I don't have energy to host to
Oh,
play
I know.
trivia.
You just gotta rest for like months at a time with
I know.
this.
It's because I'm on like COVID repeat right now or 2.0 after the reinfection. So I'm in the phase where I think my brain died. So I'm having this conversation with you, but probably tomorrow I'm not going to remember I had this conversation with you.
Oh, okay. We can use that. No, I'm kidding. I can't. I can't nefariously capitalize on that because of my long COVID. Like, remember you said you were gonna. You said you were gonna send me a Starbucks gift card. Just kidding.
I'm almost I'm almost done with the study that I'm in, which my husband's like, why are they doing this study? It's not going to do anything. I see no change. I started laughing because it's an inflammatory diet study. I said I would do it, so I did. I'm doing it, but
Oh,
all
they're
it
like
did was
you have
suck
to.
all the fun out of food.
Oh, so you had to eat like French fries and cheeseburgers.
No, no, the other way. So
Okay, the other way, the good way.
anti-inflammatory foods, very restricted diet.
Does
So
it work?
I don't think so.
Ah, damn it. Damn it. I have MCT oil. I've been like drinking MCT oil. I'm like, come on, do it. Do something. It doesn't do anything. Only
Have you ever
rest.
tried the black seed oil? That stuff's like gasoline. It's so gross.
Oh,
The cumin one.
black curcumin or whatever. Or yeah, I forget what it's made from.
It's made
Nigella.
from cumin seeds, but it's black
Yeah,
seed oil. Yeah,
yeah,
it tastes like
Nigella sativa.
gasoline, or tastes like what gasoline smells like, I guess.
Well, I didn't drink it. I had capsules, but I didn't feel it. I did every single supplement in the beginning of long COVID, like all of them at once, and it was terrible. It still is.
I don't know if you should do all of them at once, Fellini. Some of them I think are contraindicated, right? Like
I don't
with
know.
each other.
I don't think I'm doing anything that's contraindicated, but I should check. Or I can just list them off and someone in the room can tell me. No, I'm kidding.
Mm. So Kath has to go to Salt Lake City. That's a dry state, right? Ish state, a dryish state, kind of like Idaho.
Yeah, they have weird. There's like in
There's
some
like
places.
rules, right?
Yeah, in some places, if they're going to pour you a drink, I don't know if it's everywhere, but in some towns or whatever, like they have to pour it behind a blind. Like it's like it's
Like you can't actually watch
you
them
can't
pour a
watch them
drink.
make your drink because that would be too like risque or something. It's like an old law
That's interesting.
because it would make you like all horny to like get more drinks or something. People would be like, "Oh, look at that." Yes. So, I don't know. The only drink I wish I had right now was some of that kefir, the blueberry one. I love it. Love that shit.
Do you make your own kefir?
No, I buy it.
You buy it.
Making it, man, I don't make anything right now. I got my feet up. Kefir, I mean, I guess you could. Do you make it?
No, I have crunchy granola friends that do, but I don't think I can have it because I don't tolerate dairy.
It's usually tolerated by people
Really?
that don't tolerate dairy pretty good, I guess. Yeah, interestingly enough. That's what it advertises itself as.
That was something like they were trying to have me eat, and it was not agreeable. Oh, yeah. So one of the things I was supposed to eat a lot of is chia seeds, and chia seeds and me do not get along.
Oh, do you remember Chia Man from Saturday Night Live? Chia Man.
I don't think I ever. There's been years of my life when I didn't watch it, so I probably didn't watch that.
It was like Phil Hartman or somebody, and it's like the story like goes this guy was like about to mow his lawn, and
Uh huh.
like a pot like a pot and some soil and some chia seeds fell on him and knocked him out, and there was a rainstorm, and then
Oh,
he became Chia Man. He, it's stupid, but
that must have been when like chia pets were really popular.
yeah.
So, anyways, I'm almost done with the study, which is good. But I have to decide what I'm gonna do next. So I have to meet with my long COVID doctors. But we'll see. I don't know. I did kind of good for like 5 days last month, the end of last month, because I was on like Tamiflu. And then I felt a lot better, but still not at my previous baseline. But like I wasn't having the chronic pain, and like seriously, I could grip things again and write with a pencil. It was like amazing. And then I'm like back to where I was before. Maybe slightly worse now. I'm not sure. So I don't know if like the Tamiflu, because it's an antiviral, like it did something. But I was on it prophylactically because one of my kids got the flu.
Yeah, I want to try some Tamiflu.
Oh, they only give it to you for 10 days though, Fellini.
Yeah, but maybe
Okay,
I've
I
got
gotta
some.
go, guys. We're done with homework, and I gotta go figure out dinner stuff. And I can't operate heavy machinery and be on here at the same time. So, uh, love you guys. Have a good night. I'm gonna leave you in Calbear and Fellini's capable hands. So, enjoy.
Oh no, I gotta go check on my kid too. You reminded me of something I was supposed to do because I think my husband left. Thanks, Taff.
Oh, hey, I just wanted to say a quick thing. I'm really lactose intolerant, and someone in a space a long time ago, well, Calbear's gone, so it doesn't matter. But anyone who might be interested, Fellini's right. Like, if you're lactose intolerant, like you and I am really lactose intolerant since COVID. For some reason, the fermenting process with kefir, makes it so that, at least for me, I can drink like endless amounts of kefir and I have no problem. But I can't have any other dairy. Like I have to take lactate pills to have any other dairy, and even then it upsets my stomach. But just for anyone else who might, because it helped me because I have trouble um, gaining weight or maintaining any kind of weight, and the kefir helped with that. And I also like the taste a lot.
What happened? What did I miss?
We were talking about kefir.
Ooh,
Yeah, dude, things got really exciting.
heavy.
And we're just sitting in silence.
I'm trying to get stuff for dinner ready. I left this phone in the other room. I mean, I didn't really have anything on my mind except for a quick happy hour space. Joe and I like to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, dude, you really stirred the pot.
Did I kick the bee's nest or what? The hornet's nest a little bit?
Dude, I found a thread where Brad and Peg are going at each other.
No way. Those two not in love? Weird. I can't even. Jesus Christ. It really is all for fun. Would read it to me. What's up? I can't see that stuff. I think I'm blocked by those people. I don't mess with any of that.
Yeah, I don't want to. No, I don't care enough. I don't want to read it.
It's not like I'm asking you to read one of OQ's word puzzles, dude. I know he's your boy. I know. It's awkward. Here's the deal, though, Felino. I don't play the Twitter game of you're friends with them, so I can't be friends with you, and I'm friends with them, so you can't be friends with them, bro. I don't play that game. So you guys can be tight. You guys like barbecue and shit?
Yeah, we're having a conference together.
Are you if you DMing him right now, let him know he can come in here. Like we can literally talk about all this stuff, and I'll be cool. Like I'm always cool, so
All
I'll
right,
be cool.
I will. I'll send it through the bird flu pigeons.
Yeah, just tell him to bring a translator. Even if there's an app, do you think there's an app where like you basically plug in an OQ tweet and then it just translates it for you? You know how hard it is to try and saute onions and host a Twitter space and eat a cracker at the same time when you have long COVID? For those of you who just showed up, to see a few people showed up, you're more than welcome to grab a mic. I can't talk very much right now, so the more people talking, the merrier. I'm trying to accomplish dinner. What's up, David?
It's funny.
I hit the mute button. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, no, talk about a translator. I've actually had tweets that people will send to me, and I'm not quite sure what they're doing. And I'll literally copy and paste it into ChatGPT and say, "Explain this to me," and it will rewrite it in a way that makes sense. And I use that all the time for that kind of stuff. It's really funny you can do that.
Yeah, there was a mutual friend of ours that was recommended me doing that for certain things because I get kind of wordy and kind of my grammar sucks, you know. I hear it works pretty good.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's more like because I've had people write something out to me and like, I'm not quite sure what they mean here. And so I'll just throw it in and it'll say like, this is what they're saying. And it's like rephrasing what they said in a different way. And it's like, okay, now it makes sense. And then, which even kind of stranger is like, I can quickly say, reply back saying this, this, and this, and it'll just write it quickly for me, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. I suck at brevity sometimes. I I go for dramatic effect and you know, illustrative language.
Yeah, then you can also set the grade level, like I would like fourth grade level or eighth grade level or something like that.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I probably broke the law a few times when it comes to commas.
You broke the law, what?
When it comes to using commas in run-on sentences and stuff, like I'm bad, really bad.
Yeah, I use commas a lot now. My sentences are getting longer. I started using Grammarly, and it's constantly suggesting extra commas. I didn't realize. Yeah, it's funny because my dad was an English teacher, and you would think I would be like a good writer because of that. I could write well, but I never understood why. So if they're doing like sentence structure and stuff like that, I always fail those tests. But every time I wrote a paper, they always say, "Oh, you wrote well," but it's like I didn't understand why. It was just because that's the way my dad talked and stuff. So yeah, he taught at the Air Force Academy English. He wanted to be a pilot, but his stomach couldn't handle the flying.
Welcome, Winter. Just want to let you know, like I host very good spaces sometimes, and sometimes more controversial spaces. And this space got off on the controversial side with my friend Joe Boo. So you know, just speak at your own risk. I don't want your reputation to be damaged because you showed up here and you're chatting.
I'm still busy trying to figure out what the acronyms mean. I got long COVID and happy hour. I think I understand what FU means.
Yeah, see, you're better off just not knowing. Like, chances are the conversation isn't going to go in that direction anyways, unless the right people show up to the space. So we already had all that. But basically, I was just kind of trolling the trolls today.
I see.
I,
Okay, well,
I'm dirty like
if
that.
you're when you're busy frying onions and eating crackers, I can just sing some show tunes in the middle to keep everyone occupied until whatever happens is going to happen. It's not like I have anything else to do on this couch, Dave.
All right, I got you. Yeah. I mean, we got a good crowd up here. We got Davided up. We got Holly in the house. You know, and we got a good little group in here listening in. They've been listening for a while. I'm hoping that they were laughing earlier.
It's
Yeah, so
funny.
it
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it turns out no matter what kind of group I enter, I always end up popping in to be a speaker because I've got a lot to say, even when I don't understand the context of what the hell I'm speaking in.
No, that's good because like I'm trying to distance myself from the microphone here. You can be the conversation starter. What do you want to talk about? Just put something out there.
Oh no, I'm way too controversial to be the conversation starter. Someone a lot less controversial than me should do it.
We can do politics. What do you think about the Gulf of America?
I think the Gulf of America thing is hilarious. I know everybody's pissed off about it, but I honestly find it amusing. It's ridiculously amusing, actually, but like whatever. Um, so yeah, there's that. People are now Apple to versus Google because one of them changed it and one of them didn't. It's ridiculous. It's like I'm laying here dying. Can we please just call it whatever the fuck you want?
Yeah, and don't forget we got to bring back plastic straws.
I'm dying. I'm
I
dying and they care about plastic straw. We are dying, guys. We are collectively dying a slow ghost death, and they care about plastic straws and the Gulf of whatever the name is now.
Yeah, it's just like some of this stuff is just symbolism and puff up my chest and do something cool, and not looking at the real issues.
When I popped in, was someone talking about the artificial intelligence?
Briefly, we were talking about using ChatGPT to take other people's tweets and figure out what the heck they're saying. That's probably what you came in on, unless it was earlier.
Oh, I've done that before. Like some jumbled mess that you can't understand someone saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I stopped using ChatGPT as often as I was because it was stonewalling me. I know this sounds stupid and it's just artificial intelligence, but I took it personally. I became pissed off at ChatGPT as though it were a person. um, it was really stonewalling me when I was trying to get I was using it to try and compile some information about the COVID-19 origins, and when I was doing that about 6 to 8 months ago, it was answering my questions using just factually based stuff, and then it would list any caveats or whatever. But now it just completely stonewalls the situation. Even when you try to back it into a corner, it just won't answer you. It sounds ChatGPT has started to answer you like a politician, and it's annoying the soul out of me.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed a trend towards more and more guardrails. Um, and what I do is I will hop over onto perplexity.ai and ask it questions on that, and then it will pull from real articles and stuff. And so I get around it that way. But I just found out about one today. You have to download it. It's called Dolphin Llama something. Anyway, I have to figure out how to install it on my laptop. But it is a completely uncensored AI system based off of the model that Meta built. And I've seen some examples of it, and it's totally uncensored. So it's going to be interesting to see how around this is around software coding for hackers. And so that's what they were giving an example of how you could ask it a question like, how do I get around Microsoft Defender with some source code? And I was like, okay, this is seriously uncensored. And there's probably a lot of other stuff in there, but you could ask it questions as long as you don't need to access the internet from it. It's based on 2023 information.
Oh, that sounds cool. I wonder what it would say back in 2023 about that topic for the origins of COVID-19. It was annoying me. I could go down a rabbit hole about that, but I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. As soon as ChatGPT started really doing stuff like that, I've used Grok a little bit, but there's no comparison. It like over explains. It's like Dave was saying, no brevity. Like I don't have brevity either. I'm terrible at shutting up, as you can all tell. Um, but that's what Grok does. Like it just keeps almost like typing and typing about. Like you could ask it, what color is the sky, and it will give you like a history lesson. Like I can't just answer me and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't used Grok for text stuff, just kind of, but I use it for graphics. It will create really, if you want text on an AI image that looks realistic, Grok is really good for that. So it's like if I want to do something comical, like in a space, I'll generate some image and then put some text in there. It can be kind of cool. But yeah, ChatGPT is better on the language words and stuff. So
I still think it was so great when you did that with my thread and made that little video. Winter wasn't here yet, but Winter, I often will do like kind of like satire commentary on things. I used to, anyways. I got a little bit more serious about stuff, but I put out a thread one time, and it was basically like me, right, from my perspective. But it was like this character who was in like a futuristic, like quarantine thing, and it was like it was all just like sci-fi kind of. And David put it into. He made graphics out of it and then overlaid the graphics, the pictures of the character into like a story form with a chat GPT or an AI voice for the character. Because it was all like first person. And it made like a little video out of it. And it was super cool. So I tweaked it and then I ran with it and I made like a little series of videos. It was actually kind of fun. They were parodying um, what was going on at the time in the timeline and all the conversations about long COVID and stuff.
Oh, shut up! If you happen to come across it.
Oh, well, so this is all connected to why I have spaces like this. People attacked it. They attacked it because they wanted to attack me, and it got really weird and awkward. And I was just like, screw it. I don't want to deal with this because we were just innocently having fun one night in a space, and we came up with a plot line. I literally in real time like came up with a storyline and stuff, and I had like space lizard people or something. I can't remember. Space lizard vampires from space. They were like part of the whole storyline and everything. I mean, it was actually kind of funny, the whole thing. And a bunch of the people on the internet here decided that I was anti-Semitic, and it was all about them, and it was weird, really fucking weird. And I just went, okay, whatever.
yeah, I never did figure out why they thought the phrase space vampire or lizard vampire was a racist thing. Maybe if you dug through some history stuff, maybe there's something, but I don't think so.
They were reaching.
I'm
They were reaching, David. It's a space where it's
yeah.
just this faux outrage, right? And they needed me to be the bad guy, so they were reaching. That's all. And I just didn't feel like dealing with it because I'm like, oh, I didn't know about the vampire trope or the lizard trope for Jews and everything. And here I got Joe and all of my other friends that are Jewish, and he's like, dude, this is bullshit. Nobody cares about it. Nobody's saying that that's a problem. And then
Yes, sanctimony.
yeah, all those people that said that it was such a problem and I was a monster for doing it, they all have fucking watermelons in their bios anyways, and basically are like down with the Jews. The whole thing is stupid, but the if you'd have been there, I think you would have got a kick out of it. It was really cool, and it was just genius the way David did it.
we have a very dark sense of humor in my family, so I have to kind of censor myself online a little bit and try to remember that not everybody, speaks in like movie quotes and and thinks things like that are funny. Like for example, this past Christmas my daughter gave me a t-shirt, and it was a picture of like a teddy bear laying on the couch, like surrounded by things like a video game controller and like drinks and like snacks or whatever, and the t-shirt said, "I can't today, cancer." And like I found it hysterical, but her husband was mortified. He tried to convince her. She was telling me the story when she gave it to me. He tried to convince her not to give to give it to me. He's like, "Your mom has cancer, you cannot give her that t-shirt." And he was just like did not understand, and we were laughing about it for like 15 minutes straight. And I wear the shirt, like I love the shirt, but I myself, my husband, our adult children, we all have terribly morbid senses of humor, I think.
I
Yeah.
can't remember that name of that famous author. His name is like Bukowski, Charles Bukowski. I was thinking he writes really. He's not alive anymore, but he was a raging alcoholic. But wrote these really working class books, swearing every other word in his books. And it's funny because I was thinking like, gosh, that's like Joe of the long COVID land, really smart guy, but can turn people off. But you need all kinds of people.
Yeah, you really do. The thing about Joe is that Joe never meant harm to anybody. He just got trolly because people were terrible to him. You know, they were terrible to that guy, and then they outcast him. And it's just it's a shit space. You get sick people who are preaching about community and inclusivity and everything, but they're ready to hit the cancel button at any moment because it's that kind of fucking place. It's just you know whatever. Yeah, but yeah, I'm with you. It does take all types, right? We need the Brads. We need them all, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you need the angry voice person that's out there and outraged and is willing to say it, is willing to not to call bullshit when it's bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. What would a group dynamic be like if everybody was exactly the same too, with the same energy level and the same approach? Like, would you? How do you get anywhere like that? And it's boring.
Hey, by Brad, are you referring to the Brad who like regularly blocks like people like 30 times in a row?
Yeah, he's struggling. He's
That,
struggling.
I mean, is that the person you're referring to? Because I was I would follow him and then I would get blocked out of nowhere and then I would follow him again and then I would get blocked out of nowhere
Yeah,
and I would hear stories from people that they had been blocked like 30 times. That's the person you're talking about. Like I think it's autonomic Brad.
yeah. He's just
Is his
yeah. I just don't. I mean, he and I just don't get along because he's a prick. I mean, just flat out prick. And I'm over it
Yeah,
with
no,
him.
I
You know what
agree.
I mean? I've extended the olive branch so many times with him and been so cool to him so many times, despite his nastiness, despite his crap. And he just wants to let. He's just a fucked up man. I'm not cool with him or any of the people
Yeah,
I was talking about
I
earlier. But I don't know what are you
yeah,
supposed
I
to do at
I
some point.
agree.
What do you do? You know,
I
like he can
agree.
host a
I
space and he can have
tried like
friends. I don't care.
I
Uh-huh.
agree. I gave up. I just I kept trying and then I just finally just gave up. It just wasn't worth like the energy. I have limited energy. But I was just clarifying because I wasn't sure if it was him or someone
He's
else.
just the reason why I brought him up is because I was making the point that it takes all types, and he's somebody that he does his own thing. So
Right.
Yeah, I'll jump into any group when I see it. Any long COVID group I see, if I recognize anyone in it, 'cause now I'm starting to recognize people now. Yay! I will jump in and talk to pretty much anyone.
yeah,
But my stress response is so horrifying, and it can affect me for such a longer term than what I'm used to, that now my bullshit tolerance is at just about zero. So like for me personally, like obviously I don't really get involved in anybody else's beef, but like if if I'm being disrespected or if something happens, or I just have zero tolerance for it. Or even if I jump into the room and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. How like there are some people that are consistently down and just Eeyore all the time. And I'm okay with that. This disease sucks so bad. And I know that we all know that and everyone needs the space to have those days. But if it's just like too much or constantly just like one person do it, I will just respectfully leave. I have to protect my baseline at literally all costs at this point.
Yeah, I recognize the need for people to do that. My recommendation has always been, I've said it to a few of them that I've shared space with them, and I'm like, you guys, if you really need a support groups type thing, and it's fine. Anybody's free to do whatever they want. Like, I don't tell anybody how they should run a space, but my recommendation is if you want to put like that kind of a space together and be safe, you know what I mean? Because this place is just nasty. Um, Try Discord. It's I think it's really good. I think Discord's a really good space for people to be in. It's private. You can silo, your groups and make sure people are protected. But I mean, I know it's not everybody knows how to use it, but I haven't met too many people that are. They seem it seems like most people have enough going on in their heads they can figure it out. If I could figure it out, anybody can.
I've always just used Discord for gaming. That's funny. I never really considered it outside of that.
Oh, I think it's great. Like my friends and I have multiple friends, different discords, like, and some that's like I have a main Discord that's kind of like my main core group of people, and we meet. You just look once in a while, somebody will be in there, and then somebody else jumps in, and everybody jumps in, and before you know it, you're having a group call, shooting the shit. People can share. It's safe. Like video and stuff like that. Like I go for drives, and I'll put a tripod in the front seat and set my camera up, and Discord has like full HD. So people can like see Seattle. I like drove through and did a whole downtown Seattle tour. Went to the Pike Place Market. And, you know what I mean? Like it's just cool like that. Um, and then of course you can have your chats going. So whatever. I find it to be from the patient perspective. If you're looking to just connect with other patients, it is vastly better than like the Twitter space. Okay, spaces. But Twitter Spaces have their benefits too, because Twitter Space is kind of like the public space. It's kind of like the everybody's meeting at the pub. You know what I mean? Like they can come in, they can say whatever the fuck they want, and show up and join, listen to the conversation, whatever. And strangers can come in. And it's also a way that if you really want to, organize and get a message out, you can, craft it any way you want. But when it comes to like building the real close connections and getting to know people and feeling safe, and sharing and from that patient perspective, I think Discord's way, way, way better, infinitely better.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. I've been on Discord for years. I'm shamelessly a nerd, and I do play some of those MMORPG text-based games from a while back. So I've been on Discord for a while, so I'm familiar with the platform. But honestly, I never really thought of it outside of the box.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, there's lots of Discord. Like UFO Twitter has a bunch of people that have different Discords and stuff. Like I did not know Discord at all, and I thought it was kind of clunky, kind of a crappy app. I like Slack. I thought that was a streamlined thing, but Discord now I think blows it out of the water.
I love it.
Yeah,
I think it's good.
yeah.
It's good stuff.
We have our entire medical practice, not the entire one, but about half our patients are. We have our own private Discord server for our medical practice. We're an unusual practice, and that we have a very select community kind of group. It focuses on neurodiverse patients, a lot of them with autism, and stuff. And we have like different discussions, and there's probably like 30 different channels. Some of it's on like employment, some of it's around specific health issues. So it's pretty cool, that we've been able to. We were originally on Slack, then we went over to Discord. But we've got a real sense of community. We get to know the patients a lot. They get to know each other. They make friends. It's unusual.
That's actually really interesting. I'm going to spend some time, I think, that infinite time that we have in our beds and on the couch, um, looking into looking into Discord.
Well, maybe my partner's just trying to sabotage me, but he's a programmer and he's also a gamer, and he said Discord isn't intuitive. He didn't have much faith that I'd be able to learn it, and when RP tried to help me, I had a really hard time. RP was on the phone with me trying to help me for an hour, and we didn't get anywhere. That was like probably a year ago. I lose track of time.
I remember all of that happening, and I was just really hoping that you'd come through with it. The door's always open. If you want to chat with me, I can walk you through it. We can get you at least an account set up, you know.
Thanks. I think just because um, my partner just witnesses my daily cognitive decline, I'm so influenced by his views on on my lack of ability. So I, like, I mean, but yeah, thank you for the offer.
Yeah, Holly, you're not the only person. I mean, have been in IT for 30 years, and when I first got on Discord, I was like, this is one of the least intuitive interfaces I've ever used on a chat app. So I now I understand it, but it took me a while to grasp all the little nuances. So I totally get that. And sorry you're having a hard time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I struggled with it too, David. That's why. But I'm like, once you get it, you get it. It took me months to actually get it, honestly. And I'm doing a lot better cognitively than I used to. So
Yeah, I've been on Discord for gosh, years. So I've seen some of the different iterations and the changes that they've made. I'm sure I'm not using it to the best of its usage, obviously, if I didn't know anything about any of this. Um, but yeah, I actually like Discord quite a bit for chatting, but I've never really participated in any of their voice features, even though I do see them on the sidebar.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get used to it. And like I'm in a few Discord channels with other long haulers, and like if you need to do like a content warning or like blur images, like that stuff gets complicated. Or if you're gonna set up a Discord that has like secure channels and stuff, that's a pain. But if you're like just gonna chat, that's super easy. Well, no, not super easy. It still took me a while, I'll say. But now I'm like, okay, I can do this.
well, I find it's pretty good for a group call, anywhere from one-on-one to about maybe 12 people. And if you look at a Twitter space, that's all you can really get in at a time is about 12 or so folks. So it's kind of an equivalent that way. It's a little bit weird if you've been using Twitter spaces to communicate because you want to hit that emoji button and it's not there. Um, but Signal has group calls too. I'm a fan of Discord because you can connect the chat to that, have that running chat with the video or with the I'm sorry, the calls. If you want to do video, you can pop your video on just like a Zoom call or whatever and share something if you want to, and the video quality is super high. It's like 4K if you pay for it, but it's like really good HD. So I just think it's a more intimate thing. So for the people that you trust and stuff, and if you have a bigger Discord, you can silo off your conversations and have specific calls for specific people. So I'm just saying, like, for people who find Twitter as this place to connect, fine, great. But if you're going back to what Winter said that sparked all of this, if it's like you need that secure, safe space to be talking about heavy things and you don't want to deal with the bullshit of social media, Discord's the place, as far as I'm concerned. I have a hunch. That because Discord's a little bit more the younger group, I think, was more into Discord when I first got here. And seemed to be a divide in long COVID land that wasn't a hard rule, but the younger group was a little bit different in their approach than the older group, and I think this led to some conflicts. But I truly believe that the folks like with Moonshot and some of these other cats, that they have Discords going where they organized to do some of the nefarious shit that they did. But I can't prove anything.
Yeah, what's the deal with all of that? I feel like this is the time to ask. I got some questions.
Oh, Moonshot? Okay.
Yeah, what is that? What's the deal with that? Someone want to help me
Oh boy.
out? Did I open a can of worms?
Yeah, so what
Oh,
happened
okay.
was, I see Alba in here. She'd probably be able to articulate this better. I'll make it as brief as I can. Before the Moonshot, there was a lot more unity in this community on Twitter. Okay, I hesitate to call it a community, but me and another guy started hosting a space a couple years back, and it was the first space for people who had long COVID to talk about long COVID, and we wanted to keep it open, frank discussion, adult, not politically oriented, you know, and the conversation evolved over time, and we ended up having people who didn't agree necessarily with the way we were talking, what we were talking about, whatever. Anyhow, that was festering, okay, because some of the conversations that we had were beginning to question organizations that have been advocating for patients for a long time, because we're fucking adults, and we saw something wasn't right here. And so the conversation evolved over time, and then that opposition to our conversation festered, and that there was a confluence of those people and other people who are just fucking, they're just abject complainers, right? And they just get caught up in this stuff, the drama. I don't like this person. I mean, when I was hosting spaces, people would come to me and complain, "Why you let that person talk? Why you?" It's just like, because this is a town hall, man. You know, like as long as anybody isn't being like rude or harmful to somebody in the space, I don't care what's said. Just be respectful. And it was a place. People would say no, it wasn't, but it actually really was. And just a select few. So that select few, a very, very vocal minority, and people who had interests that shared interests with these organizations were already in opposition to a good amount of folks that were having conversations in that space. Another space spun off, and it kind of felt like a little community for a while, really, just different people with different thoughts, but it was okay. And then there was like a massive attack on the people that came into our space and the conversation, and things got a little bit weird. And the conversations got more intense, and the conflict kind of really started. Well, there was a point at the end of 2023, I think it ended middle end of 2023, where somebody who was part of that, we don't like those people in that space group, announced on the timeline that they were going to do this moonshot campaign. This moonshot campaign was just like, it was like secretive. Like people were working on it and didn't share with anybody else. Whatever, it is what it is. It was their project. And they announced it on the timeline, and they did it in a way. I was having like not a private space, but a not long COVID lounge space, and shooting the shit with people. And I think I'm known for being irreverent. So whatever, I'm going to say what I feel. And one of the people, there was already more conflict happening. One of the people announced that this moonshot was going to happen, and it took people by surprise. And so the first bit of concern was that this is not enough money. What are they doing? And so patients immediately became, it's social media. They immediately became divided over whether or not this moonshot was going to be enough money. That was the first part of the argument. Okay. There was also, I was hosting a space, and this is where I committed the mortal sin. I was hosting a space when this whole thing came out, and my co-host said, "Don't look at the timeline, Dave." And there was this character in this play here who went by the name Mamacita. I don't know what her deal is now. I think she's like recovered or whatever. I don't fucking know. But she was one of the founders of the Moonshot. And when she got on the timeline, she said some really fucked up things to people that were really ableist. Okay. She said, like, these people are always shooting everybody down, but they don't do anything. Or why don't you do your own thing? Why can't you? It was just really fucked up. So I was in a space and I called her a bitch. I did. I called her a bitch. And because people were texting, they were DMing me, everybody was upset. And I was just like, oh, fuck this, man. You know, I'd already put up with enough crap over the course of the previous year and a half. So I went off the handle and I called this woman a bitch in a space. And so that, of course, these people were already in their groups, already probably in their discords, already in their little private things, and they had this weird agenda to like take out our space. It was like really weird. But so that sparked a little bit of drama, right? A little bit of drama. But more importantly than that drama, there were concerns about what was attached to the Moonshot campaign. And there was legislation that was attached to the Moonshot campaign. So everybody was like hosting spaces and trying to like have this conversation. It was like this big argument that was going on, everybody trying to understand where everybody was at, what was going on, and disagreements and a lot of questions. And every time the question would come up, like nobody wanted to answer our questions. When I say ours, I mean the people that were concerned about what this moonshot was all about. Because as we saw it, it might be a move by these organizations and benefit them. And we wanted to make sure that if there was going to be an effort that we all got behind, that research was the focus. Research on what's happening here and how to get this fixed. And so a group of people got together. I was one of them, but I'm not the power thinker of the group. You know what I mean? Like I was just kind of there participating and seeing things, but there were people who are really smart about this stuff, and they dug into all the legislation that was attached to this moonshot. And what they discovered was that this had no teeth. It was absolute garbage. And it was going to pay off these organizations in perpetuity, make sure that these organizations made a bunch of money, and virtually nothing was going in. I can't remember all the deets, but there was stuff about kids, and it was a complete fucking disaster. And we went in unbiased. I'm going to tell you, because I was there in those group meetings with looking at it. We were not like trying to find things. We were just meticulously reading, like going through who's going to read these bills, right? It was like 4 bills or 3 bills or something. So when we came to the conclusion that this was not going to be a good thing, we went to the supporters of that effort, who were all rah, 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 who were basically, it was all an AstroTurf deal. It was just these organizations. And when we really turned up the heat with questions, they basically blocked everybody out from the conversation. And then they started hosting their own spaces. And they kind of like turned into their own little side group or whatever. And then they went on slander campaigns to try and destroy people's reputations over on the non-supportive side. Now, this is where like LCAP comes into the equation. I don't know if you've heard of LCAP,
I
but
have
this,
actually. They
right.
seem like I've seen the Mean Girls group. That's what I call them to my husband.
Okay, so LCAP, I was a staunch supporter of LCAP at that time, and LCAP got I forget the guy's name. He's a world-renowned economist who basically came out and said, "Dude, this is not enough money. Like it's going to take a lot more money than this." So LCAP's position was, we need to ask for more money. My position and some of my friends' positions, they were in the same headspace as that, but they were also like, this fucking legislation is bad. And all the other side did was basically try to pump their own cause, and at the same time, it just caused like massive drama. There were so many things going on in my world on social media at the time, but like it spun out of control. And LCAP, the leader of LCAP, who I've had a fallout with because we just apparently see things differently, um, he put out he made a mistake, and he said moonshot kills, right? But he was talking about, supposedly he was talking about the moonshot program. And that organization, when the moonshot was in Washington D.C. doing their, we're just gonna get.
Dave,
Hey, go
I
ahead, go
got
ahead,
it.
go ahead. My
I
memory's not
got it.
great. Okay, go ahead.
There was no moonshot organization. They swore up and down 60 Ways from Sunday. They were just a group of 8 patients in a DM, right? No, there was no moonshot organization. It was supposedly just a bunch of people in a DM. So, yes, when they came out, we came out with the moonshot kills, it was 100% regarding the lowball ask of $1 billion a year. It was not to say that those people in some organization that still doesn't exist, it never existed, um, were killers. So, I mean, that just got like things do on this timeline. Uh, abused the fuck out of that situation. Um, the primary thing with this for me is there were a bunch of people involved in LCAP committees at the time, Lisa McCorkle being one of them, Chris Madison being another, and way before the so-called moonshot $1 billion ask was publicized, which it was written up by Lisa McCorkle and HIV and now long COVID researcher Michael Peluso out of UCSF. And they wrote this ridiculous article that got published in Nature magazine. And that's when that number got deployed, right? And then, so this is being put forth, as always, by the Long COVID Alliance, the CDC funded IACC, Long COVID Alliance, Solve ME, ME Action, Patient Led's their AstroTurf. Then they had to AstroTurf their fucking AstroTurf with Moonshot. So, but this came out and the timing of it was extremely interesting compared to all of the committee meetings that had been happening with LCAP regarding LCAP wanting to come up with a number. Like, how much do we need? What should we ask for? And you had people like Chris Madison, and this was just a big part of the discussion. Should we try to raise money and hire, a health economist or somebody to take a look at this? Well, David Cutler had already taken a look at it at least twice and come up with the $3.7 trillion figure that was going to be a hit to the United States economy just through 2022. So Lisa McCorkle and Chris Madison knew this. They had been in the conversations with the various committee meetings. And a lot of these conversations happened in public spaces. LCAP used to have a space every week and everybody would come to it. So a lot of these conversations happened out loud, including the idea of hiring somebody to do it. So suspicion became, after everything, hindsight 2020, was that they were concerned that LCAP was in fact going to come up with an actual number, and sort of they deployed this moonshot joke just to beat everybody to the punch. Well, of course, you're dealing with, again, these organizations who get whatever they want published, right? So it was off to the races. It was off to the races. And then they put together a group. Chris Madison handpicked Dave's favorite person. I mean, all this stuff between him and Lisa McCorkle, this stuff is in writing, them handpicking their little front people for their moonshot organization. And it's all really gross because they wanted to
act like it was a grassroots thing, and it was not a grassroots thing. You've got organizations pulling in tens of millions of dollars that were running this show, who had the command of being able to get published in Nature magazine and all this other stuff. So like the fact that this was any type of apples to apples situation is just patently ridiculous, because it wasn't. And so yeah, people are very passionate about the fact, and David Cutler, he's the guy that said we need to spend, what did he say? There's no amount of money that's too much for the United States government to fix long COVID. There's no amount that's too much. So apparently Josh ended up getting a hold of this guy somehow, and they had a conversation, and the guy said at a minimum, 28 billion. And so it became like the 28 billion versus the 1 billion, sort of thing. But all of this other ridiculous drama got dragged into it, and it should have just been about the numbers. Should have just been about the
Right, right.
numbers.
So forgive me because like that's a hard time for me to go back to, and I was really caught up in a lot of stuff because this is when they started accusing me of making rape threats, and
Yep.
then they attached me to Josh. El Cap's synonymous with Dave. They're both bad. So basically, they went on a fucking cancel culture, uh, thing to divide or to destroy me personally. So I was dealing with that. It was really really tough. And then they went a step further, and this Ink Blue account showed up, and she worked with one of the founders of Moonshot to basically put together a huge block list that divided the entire community in half, or at least from my
Right.
side.
So we would have spaces where anybody could come in and talk, right? And they would have spaces where they had already blocked out half of the community. And so this is just sort of like the ridiculousness.
Not only
Um,
that, when they'd have
the
those spaces, Alba, there were people who were not blocked out who did the right thing, went in there and asked the questions, and when they did, they got lied to and kicked out.
Yeah, and then they got harassed,
Yeah,
and
harassed.
some of them are still being harassed to this day by those fucking psychopaths.
Right.
So,
I have seen the Ink Blue account. I actually refer to her, and I don't know her well enough to have known whether this was true or not. But just from what I saw, like what was going on when I first came back onto Twitter and discovered long COVID and all this, what going on like a month now, I call her one of the mean girls to my husband because she seems like she's starting a lot of trouble.
Well, the bottom line is that these people were, I mean, this was not a grassroots movement. It was an effort by these organizations to maintain control and get themselves paid. And it really is exposed, at least to me, what part of the big problem in chronic illness advocacy is altogether, and why there one of the reasons why there aren't solutions for patients.
well, and Dave, let's not forget that when they first came out with the ask, they swore again up and down there was no legislation attached to it.
Yeah, they didn't like it when I made that video. They didn't
There was
like
no
that.
legislation attached. They promised there's no legislation attached, and they're like, "Oh, here honey, we're gonna have our little rah rah space, and everybody's gonna call their legislature, and oh, and while you do it, when you're asking for the 1 billion, would you just mind asking them to pass HR blah 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 and
Yep.
fuck you blah 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 and
Yeah.
AB blah 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 blah?" And it's like, what? And yeah, it was absolutely just a grifter kickback
No,
scheme.
I don't mean to like bother you guys for longer and longer, but what type of legislation were they trying to? That's probably like a huge question, right? But just with some brevity, what type of what
Not
were they
really.
trying
I
to
mean, it
attach to
was they
this?
were totally like ridiculously elementary bills. I don't even know if any of them were over 30 or 35 pages long.
Yeah, I could
Um,
probably go look for them then. But this thing died on the hill, right?
oh yeah, it was just all for show. It was all for show. They never had. I don't even know if they even tried to get any Republican sponsors for it. Um,
Did they have a
the whole
lobbyist?
the whole thing was just a nightmare. Nope.
Oh, there's your sign. Well, thank you for explaining that to me. I'm piecing things together, but a lot of it's been difficult and confusing.
I
I actually have
probably
another
forgot
question.
half of it too, Winter.
I
Sorry.
I actually have another question that may be related. I don't know. But it is another one that's bothering me. Can I take up more time?
There's no there's no agenda here and no schedule. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So I've done some of my own research into the subject, but I have noticed that there is an attempt to combine long COVID with MECFS, and then a lot of contention between whether or not ME and long COVID are the same, they're not the same, sort of thing. And then PEM is real, it isn't real. And I'm just trying to learn shit, and I I have no idea what it's all about. Well, that's a lie. I have some idea what it's all about, but I kind of want to see if I'm on the right page.
Most of the conversation that you see uh, is driven by people who are trying to create a conflict that never existed. It's
Okay. All
like
right.
the
Fair
idea
enough.
that PEM is not real, like the way you even said that. Nobody's ever said that. Nobody says
Okay.
PEM's not a real thing. We all deal with problems, you know, and PEM is one
Yeah.
post-exertional thing that patients use PEM to describe it, whatever doctors will call it. Sure. Like nobody says that nobody says MECFS isn't real. Like nobody says that these patients aren't really sick. But none of that. None of that. It's all been contrived, just a complete bastardization of people's positions. Really smart people who have collectively over time had conversations that concluded, you know, something's wrong here. Something's wrong here. People are getting screwed, and you
Well, what
can't
they
argue
did,
with that because
Winter,
there's no
is
fucking
just like what we were
solution.
talking about with these orgs, right? They infiltrated our boards. Everything has just been a con being run by these MECFS organizations. They've defrauded their donors, they've defrauded patients, they've pushing studies that are absolute bullshit. And what they did was they made it synonymous basically to, if you're going to criticize one of these orgs, you're punching down on patients with MECFS. I mean, it's patently ridiculous. Like, we don't go running into MECFS threads to abuse MECFS patients. It's just, that doesn't happen. Um, People here have enough of their own problems to and it's just not anything anybody here would do. But yeah,
Yeah. So that
they've
I've noticed.
basically married the fact that you can't criticize or scrutinize the absolute bullshit that's going on with our so-called advocacy without them making it seem like you're punching down on patients.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
So,
it's just like everybody just lives here and they're sick all the time. And after 3, 4 years of this shit, it's just like ingrained with everybody.
well, thank God we all can't stand up, right? Or we'd be beating each other up next. So, my thing is, l- from what I understand, and I'm doing my own research here, so I could be botching the soul out of this. Long COVID and ME are similar, but they are not the same, correct? Like the mechanisms behind it are not the same.
They don't know what the mechanisms are with ME. The whole conversation about this started, and all the conflict. It all started because some people decided or had a conversation and decided that they thought that it made more sense to look at long COVID independently than to just slam it into the bucket and call it MECFS without really understanding what was going on. And that was not well received. And so the argument, my argument anyways, and I drove a lot of the conversation because I hosted the spaces, but I mean, I didn't come up with it all. I mean, this is something that organically, just logically makes sense. Um, when you look at MECFS, you have a bunch of patients who are slammed into that bucket who might have a lot of different things going on. And it makes research difficult because you do not know how to break your cohorts up. You don't even know where to start. And long COVID pulls the variables out of the research. You go, you have the virus. You know when the person is infected. You can compare it to other people who are infected at different times. You can look at who's recovered, who hasn't. You can really examine this thing. And you know that when you're looking at somebody, even if you have a bunch of different outcomes and different types of like problems that might fit into other buckets, POTS or an MECFS diagnosis or whatever it is, that you at least understand how it started and what's going on there. And you can look at, well, why does it end up this way in one case? And why? The bottom line is, this isn't rocket science. I've been on the line with prominent researchers. I've interviewed prominent researchers. I interviewed Dr. Amy Prohl in a space. Okay, thousands of people came in there, and she herself said MECFS is not long COVID. It's not. The long COVID is not MECFS. I've spoken to them on the line, different people on the line behind the scenes, and they're like, this is absurd. And they're like, at the patient level, we have to deal with this. We have to deal with, like, you can't say anything because they fucking freak out. So that's why
Yeah, I
I
feel
kind of,
bad for the people with the MECFS because they have been left behind for so much longer. I think that a part of it,
yeah,
in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think they're trying to cling on to the long COVID thing because we may have a better
well,
shot of
yeah,
gaining a little bit of traction, and they feel and forgotten.
yeah. And this has never been
Yeah, and the
about, this has
orgs
never been
weaponize
about,
that. The
I
orgs
need to speak
weaponize
here.
that to the
Yeah,
max.
exactly. You're right, Fellini. It's never been about the patients against patients. It's never been about what people say. Oh, the patients are. It is the way that this entire scene is orchestrated. It's the way it's orchestrated, and it's not patients. Patients have every right in the world to be scared and to want this to be something or to want the attention. That every right in the world.
So another way I like to think about it, if I can just interject, is like even bigger picture. Like if you look, I don't know, early on because of like reactivations. I heard that word in Reddit, and so I spent time in these like Lyme and EBV communities because I have reactivated EBV, and it just over time I figured out by also talking to people like Eric Johnson, the mold guy, um, that like this is what they did to people with EBV and Lyme. They said, "Oh, you just have ME, you just have CFS." And then there was a time where ME was like much more separate from CFS, and now they're kind of going back to that because maybe people have caught up with the conflation. And once in a while, I'll see a thread or somebody from like the ME community. I'll see it on Twitter. They're like, "Watch out! They're going to do the same thing they did to us." Like ME didn't used to be CFS either. And so then if you break it up even more and think, well, what chronic diseases or illnesses based from infections are treated well? And maybe you have Hep C and HIV. So, well, why wouldn't you want to model it after that instead of just putting yourself into a vague symptom based category? HIV has it all, even though it's not perfect. You know what I mean? They have a viral load test, they have resistance panels, and we have this. you know that's how I look at it. That's my soapbox about it.
Hey, I really appreciate you all taking the time to kind of school me on some of this stuff. It's been a learning curve. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we've had this conversation a lot. It's hard not to be mad and frustrated.
I know I didn't mean to open up the can of worms. I really
No, I
was just
hope you
trying to
don't feel like
understand.
you're getting like a wall of six-plaining. Is that a new word? Six-plaining?
It is now. No, I appreciate it. I know that some of the topics were contentious. That's why I've held on to the questions for as long as I have. But when they started coming out, I said, "Well, might as well do it all at once." And I appreciate you guys playing along. This is tough.
Yeah, I mean, for most of us, um, this has just been for me, this has just been a very simple thing as far as how many people we have and how much things cost, right? And the fact that this got personal, of course, is what you do when you can't defend yourself You can't defend your position. You'd be like, and then they added all of IACC to the 1 billion, right? So we went from um, what was going to be not even $14 a person a year for long COVID research to, I don't know what, $5.56 a person when you added in the rest of the illnesses that the $1 billion a year was supposed to cover. Now, and as you know, they already blew $1 billion straight out the airlock on absolute bullshit. Um, but it was just,
On NYU's Super Bowl ad.
yeah, yeah, and so for this was just it was incredible that anybody would sit there and try to defend a $1 billion number when HIV is coming in for that year end at $3,194 per person for research only. And they're well over $25,000 per person for all of their services combined a year out of the NIH. And so to try to defend an illness, um, the per person cost for that it was literally indefensible to say that you're going to research long COVID, which clearly needs um, cocktails of antivirals and other immunotherapies and hopefully MABs, at $5 per person. You can't even get one antiviral to the point of where the
That's enough for
NIH usually
Tylenol.
contributes, yeah, between $3 and $5 billion just for one RX. So um, the fact that it was even a discussion, should never even been a discussion. The fact that, and it turns out this is all for show on this timeline. Nobody took them seriously in DC. Nobody, lawmakers didn't take them seriously except for the ones that were like Tim Kaine already in the bag with Solve ME, and then Bernie completely fucking astroturf bullshit, embarrassing stuff, just like they did at the United States Senate help hearing, which was also just another horse and pony show, where they all stand around and act like they're confused about what they're supposed to be doing or what long COVID is. And yeah, they said viral persistence once or twice at that hearing and MECFS like 37 times. Now, if you look at any of the prevalence rates for this compared to everything else that people with long COVID have going on, heart attacks, PEs, strokes, all the vascular issues, serious brain damages, encephalitis, the neuropathies. I mean, right? So, I mean, you can run through all of the other things that are going on with long COVID, but nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the fact that we probably have tens of millions of people dead in the world already from long COVID. If you look at the excess death statistics, um, it's to have all the focus be on ME and all of these other things are not being counted or talked about or discussed. It's not rational. It's not rational. It's not a fair representation of the illness. It is in no way a proper scientific representation of long COVID. And it's just been incredible as patients to sit back and watch the continuous lies and gaslighting and propaganda that this one thing is it, right? Um, and nobody would take away that that's a part of this, but it is not. They manufactured studies to say it was 50%. It's absolute fucking bullshit. Even the last study they came out with is just to get their so-called ME diagnosis for the study, you had to have the ME like symptoms once in the past 7 days. So to watch all this happen and to have $1 billion gone, and then to have orgs who are making money off of you, they're taking your money from you. They're taking your money from you. They're taking money from the few legitimate long COVID orgs that do exist. They're pulling money away from those. And it's been just one nonstop assault from everything being just 100% dishonest, pretty much. And it's
And
very disrespectful, right? I mean, it's my little cousin died from long COVID in her 30s with 2 little kids. It's like I just get enraged about all of the people that have passed away. We've had people pass away on this timeline, and they're not getting counted. And this is a big thing, that's tied in, but this is all correlated. And the fact that it was the CDC's idea to have these orgs form an alliance, and they first were going to do this thing called the One Name campaign. I don't know if you saw that insanity. I'll DM it to you.
I have not seen
Oh my
that. Please
God.
do.
It was the OG IACC. But when you look at this, it really just is like this is an extension of, people and wanting to take COVID out of long COVID and not talk about COVID. And these orgs don't mask. They didn't support any of the masking initiatives we tried to do. They didn't support any of the hick pack stuff we were trying to do, the petitions, the protests, the trying to get masks even in our own trials, um, or back in healthcare, right? So all of this is pretty obvious if you look back on it now that this was really just a big smear campaign to separate all of that from what causes long COVID. And Fellini, what were you bringing up? The reactivations. Yeah, I mean, like we've been through everything on this timeline. You couldn't say viral persistence without getting attacked, right? Now the evidence for it is so, there's avalanches of it every day proving the viral persistence. But 2 years ago, you would get assaulted for saying viral persistence. It's just reactivations, or it's just fragments, or da, 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 da. How dare you say that? You're going to exclude people. And it's just like, this is just the science, people, right? This isn't contentious. It's not a whole bunch of like the things that were getting fabricated and the constant attacks on the timeline to try to keep that possibility. And then it became more and more clear it wasn't a possibility, it was more than likely. And then it was like, okay, this is for goddamn sure what's going on, at least with a significant portion of people. um, COVID is staying alive in people's skull dust 2 weeks after they're dead and contagious. That's viral persistence. Sorry. It's anyway, I'm exhausted, so I don't know if I made any sense there, but it's just the whole thing has just been one long, very, very abusive to to long COVID patients, abusive. It has been nonstop abuse to long COVID patients and their
Yeah, I
science
can I can see that.
and their advocacy and every fucking headline.
I can see that. So we can see, like, all right, and obviously with the help of y'all here, have really clarified some things for me. We can see like lots of like where we've been, and I say we with a grain of salt because I'm new here, right? I've been through the hell of the disease, but not the hell of knowing I've had the disease and everything that we've been talking about in the last few minutes. But the thing is, obviously, giving up is not an option. So where do we go from here? how do we're learning history, right? So we don't, so it doesn't repeat itself. But where do we go like from here? Like I think we have like this innate understanding of what we want from like researchers or healthcare. We want to be validated, right? For things like disability, again, we want to be validated. We want to know that, like, our country tried to take us the hell out with this COVID thing. The least you could do is help us because, right, we can't work, most of us. So we know that we want, researchers to focus on, well, in my opinion, the cure, right? We want treatment for this. We don't just want to, we want to treat the symptoms in the meantime. We don't all want to just lay here, but we want to know what's going on, the mechanism behind it, the cure for it. But I think that also we need, again, there's that validation theme that kind of runs through it. We need to have testing, which I know that they're working on that now, so that we can have some quantifiable results. Like, here is a test, you have long COVID, we can see that because XYZ, which I think will tie everything else together, right? You've got the doctors that can't denounce a test. You've got disability that can't say the test isn't real. So testing and a cure, we've got
Can
that.
I
But
just say something?
sure.
Like, I don't think regarding what Alba just said, like, I'm coming from a very depressed place right now, but I feel like the moonshot thing, that whole thing that went down, and I don't have as good a memory as Alba by any means, but that was our one shot, really, like, to be heard and to to actually get real funding, and the moonshot destroyed it for us. In my
Oh, it
moonshot
can't be though. Like, I don't mean to
moonshot
interrupt you, but it
destroyed
can't be our one shot because we're all
moonshot
still
destroyed
here.
it for us, and now we're under the Trump administration, and so I you're talking in these very optimistic terms, and um you know there's, I mean, like,
Well, Holly,
our
what's the
chance to be
alternative
heard,
though?
was then, and moonshot basically dropped a bomb on our chance to be heard. And I don't know what was driving their impulses behind that, but they fucked us over big time. Sorry for cursing.
Yeah, no, I
um
can see that, but do we
and
just give up?
uh, we go on, we go on and try to survive as best we can, but I don't think any um I I mean, I'm not an expert, but I like our that was it. I'm still stuck on that because we, like, now we're under Trump administration and it's not really looking good, and um they're I forget what space I heard it in, where they're limiting, I think Wesley, I forget the names, Dr. Wesley was saying how they're curtailing research, basically making research impossible just across the board. So it doesn't look good for research, not just for long COVID research, but for any research in general. So,
Well, the
um,
Trump administration is actually taking moves to make sure that, and some of it might be ill-advised, don't get me wrong, but they're actually trying to make sure that there's a cap on how much these universities and institutions can take off the top so that more of the research funds actually end up being used for the research that it was allocated for.
okay,
Well,
well, maybe I misunderstood, but the way he was framing it was that they were making it so limited that they weren't even going to be able to fund their staff. They weren't even going to be able to pay their staff to do the
most of the
research.
people that you're hearing, the chicken little sky is falling, we're not going to be able to research anything, there goes any research for everything, everyone's going to die. Most of the people that are saying those things, if you go into their profiles and you go and look at them, they are the people that stand to lose funding for they're the ones that are kind of grifting off of it and making some money, and that's my opinion. That's what I've seen, you know, and you see other people like Dr. Yo come in and say, well, I don't get any of that. And I'm still over here doing like phase 3 trials where I'm trying to do this, this, and this, and I can't get the funding for it. And the reason why he can't is because it's all being sucked up by these institutions and universities. So the long COVID, for example, the original $1.15 billion, I posted about that on my timeline, and I said that like New York University was one of the largest ones that received money from the NIH for long COVID. So I misspoke and said that they took 61%. They actually took 73%. So they ended up with something like over $800,000 from the original 1.15 billion. They took 73% of that off of the top for their institution and overhead. And then they scattered it down into subgrants, over 100 different subgrants from NYU alone, and each one of them were allowed to take money off the top as well. And what's interesting to know about the subgrants is that they are capped already at 20%. So if all of these little subgrants that were given money from the NYU after they took their 73% off the top could survive with a 20% cap on their overhead and still make that work for their research, then why couldn't NYU? And if NYU was so starving for funds, why were they paying upwards of $2.2 million for an ad in the Super Bowl? Because they're one and the same. It's the same university.
8 million.
They paid 8 million. See, I looked at just the
Yeah.
average was
Yeah.
2.2 million. That's
Well,
disgusting.
that's what Senator Murphy came out today, swinging.
I hadn't even seen that.
He wanted to. Let me find it. Yeah, he called him out on it, and I'm like, hey, Senator Murphy, you think 8 million's a waste? These people wasted 832 million of our money. Let's get it back.
And believe me, Holly, I'm not trying to steamroll you, honey. You sound like you're going through it, and I know that there are levels to this shit. You know what I mean? I know that there are levels to who's going through what, and sometimes those levels change day to day and hour to hour, and sometimes they never change, and they're horrifying. But for me personally, and any person that I can encourage, giving up is absolutely not an option. So those idiots with Moonshot, they fucked us over. But how can we regroup and come back? Because there is no option to give up. There just isn't. We're all, look at
Well,
us. We're all still
the
here.
other thing is, like, I'm hearing people say they're like having people in their life more aware of like long COVID, and I'm like, really? Like, are you kidding me? Like, no one in my life is more aware.
Keep
am I in
talking
some
about
kind
it.
of alternate universe? Like,
Make
the
them aware.
parent, like the parents, like that I have to deal with, like they're. I've been I, I got influenza A and a GI virus that I haven't been able to identify a month ago, and they're just like so cavalier. And but everyone anyway, like no one, like my mother-in-law still made some kind of disparaging remark, saying something like, because my partner scheduled the party during the time of day when I crash when I'm sick, and said something like, as if I'm not a person, like in front of someone else. She's been that way ever since COVID. Like, and I just had my head in my hand, and um, just not even referring to like she has long COVID or anything. Like, not, but I wouldn't even want that. Like, it's like I'm a person. Like, and whatever. It's just no one's aware. Like, or I don't see anyone with a mask. I'm the only one masked around me. Um, so I think I'm in like an alternate universe from like the other people in spaces, like who are talking about like people wanting more masks or something, because um, like my daughter's the only one masking in school. I'm the only one masking. My partner's the only one masking. Anyway, I'm just like frustrated that I'm like living in this alternate universe and sick all the time. And oh, and then my crappy insurance got turned down, so my immunology appointment was moved from May until the end of August. because I'm trying to find out how not to be sick all the time. Anyway, that's it. Sorry for the rant.
I just wanted to say something else quickly about, I was kind of going on a rant too, Holly. We're in the thick of it. Sorry, I'm just trying to organize my thoughts for a second. I was saying how we all kind of know like what we expect from like the researchers, what we expect from like, let's say, like social security, or even for your job. Like, first of all, if you're a frontline worker and you got COVID-19 that led to long COVID, that should have been covered under workers' comp. That I don't understand any of this. Like, all of these things just lack validation. I think validation is key to what we need. But for us as patients, I think that what we need to do is find the rest of us. And I'm coming from that place where 4 years, I've had this for 4 fucking years, excuse my language. 4 years, I'm an educated woman and I was actively searching for what was wrong with me. How did I go 3 and 3/4 of those years without knowing about long COVID? There is power in numbers. We need to find the rest of us. And not even just to help us and be that powerful group. We need to find the rest of us because there are still people laying in their beds right now that have no idea what's wrong with them. And they are being dismissed and they are being gaslit and they are being threatened. This is hell and it is scary and there is no 911 to call because no one believes you. This is horrifying. Like, I think that as patients, our main concern, if you can't get out and advocate, if you can't go out and lobby, if you can't try to move forward with integrity to raise money and not do that, whatever the hell they did to all of us with Moonshot, I think that the least of us, not the least of us, but the least of what we can do is to find the rest of us. Start perusing some of the social media sites that you're on. Look for people who are complaining about these symptoms and asking questions. Reddit has a specific thing where they ask, like, I forgot the name of it, but it's like, what the hell is wrong with me? Or diagnose me, I think it is, on Reddit. Look for people that have these symptoms, and any time that you can help to
I get
educate
what you're
someone.
saying. Do you think maybe like you didn't notice because you had the cancer diagnosis, and maybe you felt so awful from having cancer that it was like these two overlapping things that it was hard to tell the difference?
Yes and no. So yes, the cancer played a huge role in it. But consider that I'm not the only one, and consider that people with comorbidities are the ones that are going to be hit hardest by long COVID from what we're seeing in the research. So everybody might be chasing down their comorbidity versus looking at long COVID. So still, we have to find the rest of us. So that played a role. Like, I'm not going to say it didn't, but at the end of the day, I was begging my doctors with all of my symptoms as recently as now. Like, I moved to Massachusetts from Rhode Island 6 months ago. So within the last 6 months, I was listing out my symptoms on the portal, sending mass messages to my team of doctors because of my health. I was already seeing cardiologists, neurologists, endocrinology. I mean, it ran the gamut. And I was listing all of my symptoms, and none of them knew what the hell it was. This is inexcusable. But I really believe that as the patients, we have to find the rest of us as best we can. Like, every day, if you've got some downtime, look around,
Well,
talk
it
to
doesn't
people.
surprise me that the doctors didn't identify it. My current GP is just garbage. He doesn't even though I've been going to a Mount Sinai's post-COVID center for years, he doesn't think I have long COVID. So it doesn't surprise me that you're like a general practitioner didn't like, or any doctors like doctors that weren't affiliated with long COVID stuff didn't identify it, because the majority of them, they don't even know what long COVID is, or they don't believe in
We
it.
need to be pushing for legislation for that too. These doctors are required to get CE, continuing education, underneath their licenses. We need to be pushing for regulation to force
Oh,
them to learn this
don't
next.
worry, Winter. We already had a long COVID legislation for that, and patient led, and ME Action came in and deleted long COVID out of our own legislation. And now you got the horse and pony show educating doctors about IACC, at least in California. We are actively working to get our hands on that curriculum. ME Action's already worked with Mayo Clinic on the same type of thing, and also Dartmouth. They've been extraordinarily busy while we've been laid out flat.
For years, I was licensed as I don't know how this all works behind the scenes, but for years I was licensed to the Federal Department of Banking as a mortgage loan originator, and we had to do CE, continuing education, every single year to the tune of so many hours. Doctors have to do that as well, and many other industries also. But I'm wondering if we can get something together for some of the CE schools. I mean, obviously, it has to be regulated. You can't just throw in your own little rubric there and have them tell them this is gonna what they're gonna learn next. But to get it into these CE courses that these doctors are taking, I mean, this should be mandatory at this point, and I don't understand how they don't know it. I mean, even a friggin' piece of paper would be enough for them to like read it in 10 minutes to have a better idea if someone walks through their door with all of these symptoms to maybe start looking for more information.
I think the problem is the content right now is pretty crap that they're given.
I know I'm barking up 100 different trees, guys. I get it. I'm not willing to accept that, like, well, this is what's happened and now this is it. And this, there has to be something that can be done. Even all of us can be doing some from what we can. I don't mean to be an ableist asshole, because I know there are times I can't even look at my phone screen. But when you can do something, maybe just try your best to try and get the word out there and as much as possible.
Yeah, we have our work cut out for us. In some regards, in other regard, it at this juncture, after this many years, it's just undeniable um, that these advocacy organizations are what they are. So calling that out has to be paramount, because what the United States government does is they use those organizations to say, see, we worked with the patients. The patients are in agreement with this, which is why it was so, all of it. It's just a con. It's just a game, right? They use them, and then they get to cross some T's and dot some I's and say they did their due diligence and that this is what the patients wanted. And they're actively engaged with, psyoping some of them are definitely very willing participants. It like doesn't matter what the consequence is or who they screw over, apparently. And other ones I think are just very drawn in, wanting to help, and drawn in to the idea that they can actually, like, that their effort will be taken seriously, right? And that they might be able to have an effect. And I think that's honestly kind of the worst kind of, it's one of the most sad parts of this to me. And the placating everybody, oh, this just takes time, and oh, you can't expect it, and it took HIV this long. Well, it's not in 1980 fucking 5 right now. Sorry. And not only that, we know exactly what we got to do. They didn't even know what HIV was when it started. They didn't even know what virus they were looking for. Um, we were so far
The
ahead of
rule book
that.
has already
So,
been written. The rule
hmm?
book has already been written. There's no
Exactly.
reason to not, you don't reinvent the
Yep.
wheel. Like, let's do something about this. Am I off my rocker, or are some or one or more of the Mean Girl group don't even have long COVID, right?
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
So what are they doing here? Are they just total grifters, or are they pretending? Like, what's the deal with that? Long
Who
COVID
knows?
light?
There's a lot of theories to just being like, who knows what, and other people think people are paid to be here to cause trouble and defame and slander and bully and dox people and cyber stalk them and swat them in real life and terrorize them on the timeline with dropping little tidbits and trying to scare people that they're going to expose who you are or where you live. And all of that has happened. And they have been very successful in, because people are sick as fuck. So who the hell wants to deal with that? And in some regards, they've been successful in their endeavor to silence. It's all to silence patients. It's also that this show can go on and look like this is what the patients want.
They're trying to
Um,
control the dialogue.
they are, yeah, absolutely. Hello, away. Nice to see you. Holy cow.
Oh, hello, hello. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry we're here again. We're here as expected, right? Like, remember when they used to show up to our spaces and tell us just wait? Why are you guys so aggressive? And everything for you is a big like ploy to steal money. David's just toxic. Alba is just not like yeah, it's all bullshit. We were right, right? Like 2025, they're nowhere to be seen, and yeah, here we are. Nothing got done, right? Yeah,
Well,
it's
right. And
just
not only that, away, right? I mean, they had things they could have been doing. And this is something that I was enraged about it in 2022. I was enraged about it when I met with Kane's office more than once. And also with Bernie Sanders' office is the fact that those fucking MABs have been sitting there, just sitting there. And they could have sent them into everybody's arms that wanted them.
They
They
didn't
could
want to
have
do
cured
that.
people
They
very
didn't want to do it.
easily. None of these other advocates were fighting for that. None of them were fighting for emergency authorized use of other existing medicines. All of the things that we sat in meetings with these ridiculously egotistical, self-centered, dumb, dumb as fuck people. Like literally the one person that was pushing one of these main bills for moonshot thought it was 3 pages long. She'd been in our spaces screaming her head off for like 180 hours. And I'm going over this with her when I'm like, it's on page 8. And she's like, there's no page 8. I mean, she didn't even have the whole fucking bill. She didn't even know she was looking at a goddamn summary. So this is the kind of thing, and the government loves these people because they're dumb and they can manipulate them and they're total fucking tools. And this is what we've been butting our heads up against this whole time are people that don't even know what the hell they have in their hand, but they're out here screaming at people that they're supposed to be supporting it. And how dare you not support this? And we can't look like we have any conflict. They were very upset that LCAP had meeting without them or without consulting them first, as though they had come to LCAP to go, hi, I'm meeting with Tim Kaine's office next week. Is that okay with you? Why don't we get on the same page? Right? Why would we need to be on the same page? Why the fuck would anybody meeting with a lawmaker need to be on the same page as you? or the next person. Isn't the whole point of you going to meet is for you to relay your own position? But there was absolute chaos over the fact that we went and met with lawmakers and we were not in support of what they were doing. And you could see the look on the staffer's face when she was like, well, we would really like you to endorse this. And we're like, no, we don't endorse this. We would endorse something like a Ryan White Care Act for long COVID. We would endorse something that actually would research children and provide social services instead of just paying these fucking C3s to keep paying themselves over and over and over. And the whole thing has just been incredible. I'm sorry, Away. I'll stop talking now because I'm so happy to see you. You triggered me for a minute. Thank you.
No, we yeah, it's you're in the kitchen and you unfortunately haven't been um, available to get engaged as much as you guys did. Um, so yeah, I need to listen more. And I guess what I'm trying to figure out is what's next, right? Um, yeah, they were much worse than I thought. I thought if you know when a parasite enters the body, uh, it successful parasites tend to keep the host alive in order to keep riding along. But yeah, I don't see any give. Like and I'm not seeing any. There isn't. They're not giving an inch, right? Like the 12 symptom study. Remember that 12 symptom study when it first came out, and they defended it as a step one in the right direction. Um, and now our worst fears are taking place. But anyway, I guess now we can't, like, yeah, when those people start to yeah, after any talk, there's no value, and we heard it before. I can smell it from a mile now. So what should we do next? And maybe the climate is not the best, but yeah, we need like where should we put our efforts at?
Yeah, it's I don't know if you watched the Recover webinar. Was it just yesterday? Um I mean, yeah, we had just a huge uproar and protest over $500 million being wasted on a 12 symptom survey. And then we're told, don't worry, it's just a start. Nobody's going to use it for anything. That's all they've done is use it. That's all they did is use and they refined it. They made very small refinements um, to some of the weightings of the symptoms. And watching that yesterday was, again, it's incredibly enraging to see these researchers sit around and talk about the ridiculous minutia that they're just aggregating. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Like the fact that people are fucking dying here does not cross these people's mind at all. The fact that people are losing their houses, they're deteriorating rapidly. We've got people in and out of the hospital. We've got people having strokes. We have people passing out, seizures. This does not they just sit there and they want to talk about fucking symptoms. Like the fact that again we have avalanches of viral persistence evidence. At least you know where you can start on one thing. And if you have enough people to just crawl over the minutia and refine your minutia forever, well then fine, but at what point do you actually start um trying to save people? They're they're literally like trying to save people is not a part of this mission. They're like a bunch of freaks who just want to go over every little like it's hard to say, well, why? Of course you want to know everything, right? I mean, I'm not against knowing everything. So it makes you feel a little crazy to be like, how dare you, how dare you go go to those links or whatever on a certain tangent? But it's like, this is a triage situation, people. This is a triage situation. And not only that, they know they don't have any more money. They have they got like a few hundred more $1 million, right? Whether it's actually been dispersed or not, I don't know. But for them to keep going down these tangents that are no way, shape, or form are ever going to come out with a treatment for long COVID is just, it's so upsetting to watch it. It's so upsetting to watch. It's like they're completely siloed into their little neck of the woods, right? Their specialty, I guess, is maybe the better way to say it. But yeah, um, they blew a lot more money on the same kind of thing, and they knew how upset the patients were about that. And remember that away they had a Zoom to like stick up for themselves. So I, what do we do from now here out? I don't know. I I'm kind of happy with the climate where people want to take things apart. Um, I would love to have NYU under a spotlight, being questioned. I think that money needs to be clawed back. It was absolutely misappropriated. It's been fucking wasted on absolute nothing. It's a horrific waste of taxpayer funds and people's lives. So I do see, I mean, it's kind of weird because it's like you don't know what to believe at this point, right? But I mean, you see Senator Murphy coming out and calling out NYU for spending $8 million on a Super Bowl ad. Great. Let's get this guy involved um, with investigating where our money went. And you've got a couple other senators who brought it up, long COVID up at RFK um, nomination. And again, we had the LA Times owner, Dr. Pat Sean, again was talking about monoclonal antibodies. So maybe it's just a pipe dream or so whatever. But I mean, like this is way more than anybody in the Biden administration ever talked about long COVID, ever in 4 years.
So we have a channel, or we there is like a game plan. I mean, yeah, maybe if I would like to help, if somebody can reach out to me and tell me what kind of action or activism that need to be done. And yeah, if the like nothing happened the last 4 years, maybe now when everything is, there is maybe a lot of hopefully constructive chaos that's going on. Um, because yeah, the status quo did not get us anywhere. So I disagree with a lot of what's happening, but um, yeah, but again, there's a lot of corruption and in our small community, or not very small community, but in our use case, or the issue we care about, we see all that corruption, and I can't stop thinking, it's like, what else that what we're not, there must be a lot of that out there that we're not aware of. Yeah.
Yeah, way, I don't know. I think everybody's open for ideas and options, right?
I am. I'm interested in helping too. Right now, I'm making it up as I go along, and just I feel like I'm back. I said this before in another space. I feel like I'm back in my cold calling days when I first got into sales, back in my late teens, early 20s. I just, I'm pushing long COVID anywhere that I can without making us all look ridiculous or insane, without furthering their agenda that we're all just full of anxiety and need to go into mental institutions. I'm I'm here talking about. I even nailed one of those guys from NYU. He only had a few things he was talking about on his timeline, and I asked him a bunch of questions. He ignored me, of course, but other people see it. So any way that we can just kind of get the word out. I was bitching at Chris Cuomo the other day. I'm telling you, I'm shooting for the shooting for the moon here. No pun intended. But I I even asked him, what the hell, why doesn't he use his platform to talk about long COVID? He jumped in just long enough to make us look like we can all get through it if we just work as hard as he does, and we can all have podcasts and be interviewing people and back to business as usual. And that he did us a great disservice just talking about long COVID long enough to make us all look like it's no fucking big deal. So I just any way that I can do anything, I'm trying. And maybe it's all misguided, but I can't just sit here and do nothing. It's driving me up a wall.
Hey, David, I saw you come back up, and anybody else that wants to come up, come up. And Jelly and Becky, anytime you're ready to start your space, let us know and we'll shut down so you guys can fire off the insomniacs.
Hey, I've monopolized a lot of time, but I have another question, if you guys don't mind. I have my very first appointment coming up with the long COVID clinic, the Recover one, from Mass General. Does anyone know what the hell I'm in for or how this all works? Because I have no idea.
I think we're all going to probably head off here and go back to sleep, or if you're up late, join Jelly Space.